Have you ever wondered why men seem to gravitate towards women who are doing nothing for them? Isn't it strange how those women, the more they seem to need help from a man, the more those men seem to be interested in those women? Weird. Well, what if I told you there's a smart way to play dumb that some women are using to mesmerize men? Which is why on today's show, we're going to be discussing exactly how to play dumb so men fall in love with you. That way, you can gain this secret weapon that women are using to do less from men while consistently receiving more from them. Point number one is about teaching. Now, let me explain to you why I'm saying these things this way, why this show is titled How to Play Dumb, and why I want you to understand what we're actually trying to do here. See, when I say play dumb, you might think to yourself, well, Thompson, why do I have to diminish myself? Why do I have to make my star less shiny? Why do I have to knock myself down a notch in order to fulfill a man's ego? It's actually not about that. Well, it's kind of about that, but what it's more about is understanding how to set up an environment for your man to be a man. And what you want to do is, in order to do that strategically, you want to kind of do things that will allow him to take that role on naturally. And as you get this train rolling, as you get this snowball flowing downhill, it'll become easier and easier for that to become the established dynamic in your relationship. And men love to feel that sense of masculinity in your relationship. So let's kind of explore our first point, which is teaching. What are we actually teaching? Let me give you an example of what I'm going to be describing here. Let's say you're someone who you want to get into social media. You want to be a content creator like all of your favorite content creator girlies. And specifically, you want to be a gym girly content creator. Let's just say for the sake of example. Now, in the process of you trying to become a gym girly content creator, you understand one of the skills you have to develop is your ability to video edit. Because you see some of these girls with their amazing edits and it looks so awesome and it's HD and it's crisp and all that, and you don't know how to do that. So let's say for the sake of example, your man, he's very savvy in video editing. Let's say that's his career. You go to him understanding that he has an area of expertise in a place you could use some of that expertise. So you go to him and essentially say, hey, big, amazing, awesome man, can you teach me and transfer to me some of that amazing expertise that you have, that you're so knowledgeable in this area of video editing to help me be a better content creator, okay? Now, this might seem something like, what, Thompson, how is that playing dumb? How am I doing anything for him? Because this is a great opportunity, right? Whether you're doing this with video editing, whether you're doing this with something smaller, whether you're doing this with cooking, whatever area of expertise that he has. And you're allowing your man to strategically teach you about something that he's knowledgeable in. In the process of him teaching you, right? One, he's going to be yapping a lot. Number two, if he's an area of expertise, if he has expertise, I should say, in that area, right? There's going to be more for him to discuss, and he's going to go more in depth. And in the process of that, he's also going to feel better about himself, okay? Some of these things that I'm going to talk about when it comes to guys and how they'll feel when they get a chance to feel fulfilled as a man by doing certain things for you and taking certain actions for you might seem weird to you because you're a woman. So some of these things aren't as important to you or as important to your ego as they are to men. My job is to help you understand how important some of these things might be and how you can implement them in your own relationship. So as it relates to video editing, something that might be small to you, like, hey, just teach me how to be a better video editor, teach me how to set up the camera. I want to do my angles kind of like these girls do their angles. Can you help me do that? And in the process of that, all you got to do is sit back, relax, and let him control the show. Because now that you're asking him for advice in an area that he has a lot of expertise in, he's going to sit down and be like, all right, so what you need to do, first things first, you need to download Adobe Premiere. Okay, after you download Adobe Premiere, you need to set up your shots like this. It looks like they're shooting on a Sony A7S, but you can't use that camera because obviously that camera is worth a lot. So let's use your iPhone, but you can make it real nice. All right, so you go in ProRes, right? Then you do your, all right, you get the point, right? And so now that he's in the process of teaching you, simultaneously, he gets to feel like a man because he gets to show you something that you otherwise didn't have knowledge in, transfer some of that knowledge to you, and feel like a knowledgeable and useful man, resourceful man, to be able to provide you with knowledge, to provide you with understanding, to give you resources that you wouldn't have otherwise been able to get if it wasn't for him, right? It sounds very much like an ego thing. That's because it is an ego thing, okay? Are we all on the same page? It is an ego thing because for men, when they get to feel resourceful, when they get to feel like they have utility, especially utility to you, their woman, that makes them feel really good on the inside. The other show, I think it was our last show last Thursday, we had a conversation about everything you should not say to your man. And one of the things I specifically didn't want you to say to your man is to basically make him feel like he has no utility. When men feel like they have no utility, that's directly speaking towards to their value. Vice versa, when you can make a man feel like he has utility by giving him the ability or the opportunity to teach you about something, specifically something he's very knowledgeable in, this makes him feel really, really good about himself. All right. And subsequently feel really good about you. All right. Let's hop into our next question. All right. Next question. I said next question, next statement. I was thinking in my mind, do you have any more questions? But it's the next point here, okay? All right. Don't worry, Chad, I'm rusty. It's been a week. All right, point number 2. Okay. Very, very, very good one for you to do. Just like this, okay? All right, so this is gonna require some drawing on my part. Damn it. Okay, let's just, well, I know none of you are gonna even know what this is. Whatever, it's whatever. Whoever can guess, I'll give you a gold star if you can guess what this is. I don't think anyone's gonna be able to guess what this is. This just looks weird. Yeah, this just looks weird. Can anyone guess even what this is? So we'll put here, oh man, I want to see. Guess in the chat while I'm finishing up my drawing if any of you know what this is here that I drew. I don't think anyone will get it. It's too out there. Okay, so we'll do like this, and then we'll do a wrench. Anyone can guess it? Does anyone know? Someone said a stadium, a boot, okay, a flip phone. Damn, my drawing is bad. Okay. Damn, my drawing is bad. All right. Damn, I only seen a few people guess it. All right. So, it's a laptop. It's supposed to be a laptop. Chat, is that bad? Chat, is that bad? That's bad, isn't it? That's bad. That's horrible. It's supposed to be a laptop. So let's, for point number 2, we're going to discuss fixing. Fixing, very much like teaching, is a great way to make a man feel useful, even in very, very small ways, okay? So let's say for the sake of example, you have a laptop, a work laptop that you're dealing with, and this work laptop is giving you some problems. Let's say the screen is glitching and some of the keys are sticking. Now, you might know, maybe if I YouTube it and I research it, I'll be able to find a fix that will kind of help me make my laptop work a little bit better. But I know this could be a great opportunity to play dumb that will allow my man to come in and save the day and be my hero and fix my laptop for me because of how knowledgeable and amazing and smart he is in the field of tech, okay? Now, this is why you're being very strategic in terms of the way that you play dumb. Even though you can go out and get the answer yourself, you're allowing your man to come in and solve your problem, even though it's a very, very small problem. Now, he's going to come in and you're going to say, oh, my big, strong, amazing, smart, technologically advanced man. My laptop is so broken, it's so broken, my eyes are bleeding looking at the screen, everything is sticky, I don't know what to do, I can't work, I can't type, I can't do anything. And then he'll say, oh, laptop, simple fix. Oh, all you got to do is you flip it around here. Then you take this and then you take this cord out. You put this back in, unscrew this. Oh, it's very simple, very simple. Unscrew this. You put this back, put this battery in. Once you restart it, it's quite easy. I won't lie to you. It's nothing, no skin off my back. And you be, oh my God, oh my God. I never thought my laptop would get fixed. Every day I could barely even type. Microsoft Word was such a pain. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't work. I thought I would lose my job. And you came in and you saved the day. I can't believe it. Perfect. Perfect. See, this is the thing. Because even as I'm acting that out, some of you are thinking, Thompson, you want me to act like a fool. You want me to make an idiot out of myself and pretend like I'm an idiot just so this man can feel good about himself. Understand something very important. You're not just doing something for him. You're doing something for yourself as well. Because remember what I said at the beginning of the show, you're creating an environment in which this will become your established dynamic. So what does that mean? That means I want him to get used to fixing your problems. I want him to get used to being attentive to your problems. I want him to get a good feeling and an ego boost from coming to your aid and coming to your rescue and saving your life, saving you from despair, okay? Because once we start to establish that dynamic, it's good for you because now you have a man that is accustomed to taking the lead. Now you have a man who is accustomed to taking action. Those are all good things for you. You will be the one to reap the rewards of that established dynamic. I know that it's easy to just fix your laptop whenever you need your laptop fixed, okay? To just do it all by yourself. I know it's very easy, and I know you want to be a strong, independent woman. I'm not saying you can't be that, but what I am saying is you'll be doing something that you will enjoy the fruits of later on if you can get to establishing this dynamic, especially when he plays the role perfectly. What do I mean by playing the role perfectly? When he responds to you in the way that you're anticipating whenever you do have those problems. Because the reality of it is, a guy who likes you, a guy who's interested in you, especially a guy who wants to build with you and wants to be in a relationship with you, he will love. You think I'm exaggerating? It's not an exaggeration. He will love an opportunity to come to your rescue in a place that he already has a lot of knowledge and skill in, right? So you can replace this laptop with a gym, right? Helping you at the gym, helping you grow your booty, right? Helping you gain your muscles. A runner, helping you, go out on runs, induce your, cardiovascular endurance, whatever it is, okay? You just simply copy and paste and apply whatever he's interested in, whatever he's passionate about, and whatever he's skilled at to this thing that you're gonna have him fix for you. And you can even have him fix it for you on a regular basis if need be, all right? Does that make sense? Someone said, we need a hero. Hey, I'm telling you, chat, when you make your man feel like a hero and he really likes you, he responds as such. It's very good for you. Then you can have a man constantly taking action for you instead of you having to beg for things. See, it's kind of reverse psychology because even though it sounds degrading to play dumb, you're actually doing the smartest thing you can do for yourself because you're secretly getting what you want in the process of that, okay? Let's hop into our point number 3, okay? Gotta make sure my marker holds up in these. All right. We're not gonna stop because of a marker. We're gonna make sure we get this good information here. Good information. Good information. That good information. Okay, chat. Okay, chat. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. This makes me happy. This makes me... 2-lane road? 2-lane road. 2-lane road. That's what we're doing today. 2-lane road. Okay. So, chatty, classy. All right. Point number 3, decisions, okay? Now, I know that when it comes to making decisions, some of you might already adopt the mentality where I hate making decisions. I'd much rather make my decisions, which this will be very easy for you. Some of you, it's a little bit harder for you to relinquish control to a man. How dare you relinquish control to a man, right? and allow him to make the final decision, okay? Now, let me help you understand why this can actually be beneficial for you, even if it's painful for you. Let's use the example of what you guys are going to eat for dinner. Let's say you know in your mind that you could go for dinner either sushi or pizza. And you know that you could easily just order or choose for you guys what you guys are going to eat tonight, right? You say, okay, I'm feeling pizza, I'm going to order Domino's, or I'm feeling sushi, I'm going to order from that local sushi spot, and that's what we're going to eat. I've already decided because that's what I want. Instead of doing that, I want you, because remember, you're doing something for yourself in the process of this. I want you to allow these small instances, right? This is the reason I split up the road, to be a decision that he gets to make, even though the decision is very simple because it's just one or the other, and you're really satisfied with either one. These type of examples will be perfect ways to build the environment that your man knows how and feels comfortable in making the final decision. So when you go to him and you ask him, I'm not sure what we should eat tonight. Should we do pizza or should we do sushi? Then I want you to sit back, relax, let him think through the process, let him bring his points by saying, okay, well, if we do sushi, we could do the dragon roll, or if we do pizza, we could do chicken, we could do this. Let him even ask you, so how do you feel about pizza? Or what are you in the mood for? Or what is this? Or what is that, right? And then you can give him some of your opinions. You can give him some of your perspective. You can give him some of the things that you like about sushi and don't like, some of the things you like about pizza and don't like. But ultimately, right, I want you to say, I trust you to make the best and final decision for both of us. Some of you are freaking out. Oh my God, Tomisin, trust a man, make the final decision. What do you think this is, 1988? I can't do that. We don't do that. I'm a strong, independent woman. I know you are. But here's the thing. If you can start to speak to this man in a way where you're helping him understand that you feel like he's capable and intelligent enough to make the final decision for both of you, having taken in all the information, right? Then you're doing something very important for yourself in the future. Because the reality is, you don't want a man. You're not going to be very wet, turned on, or happy if you have a man who can't make decisions. Because what will happen is when you get to be the boss 100% of the time, he'll take a back seat and then he'll stop making any decision whatsoever. So every time you need something, every time you're looking for him to go out of his way for you, every time you're looking for him to take any sort of action with you, he'll feel uncomfortable making a decision unless you're the one that makes it first. What we're trying to do is we're building the environment where he's always comfortable speaking and making the decision, right? He's always comfortable analyzing information and saying, I think this is the best way for us to go, right? You're helping him build himself up and build his confidence in being a leader. Because the reality is, for you as a woman, you'll be much happier, assuming you're attracted to masculine men, with a man who takes on a leadership role than you will be with a man who takes on a very feminine backseat role, okay? So remember, we're not just doing something for him by playing dumb and allowing him to make this simple decision. We're also doing something for you in playing dumb and allowing him to make this simple decision, because now he will become accustomed to doing that for the rest of the relationship. Are we on the same page? Okay. Are we on the same page? Are we, all right? Okay. In a relationship, the decisions should be joint. Yeah, he'll take in some of your information and what you want as well in the process of making the decision, right? Nothing wrong with that, okay? Right, and some of you, so I know some of you will say, well, we should both make all the decisions all the time. You have to understand, right? I'll make the analogy of a business for any of you who know about business, okay? In a business, right, there's a reason there's a hierarchy of roles, right? It doesn't mean any one role is necessarily more important or more congruent to a successful company, right? Because the reality of it is, if it didn't matter, it wouldn't be a role in the company. But you have to understand there has to be decision making or decision makers in any company, in any business. Because if everyone is making all the decisions all the time, well, then you're just going to have a lot of stalemates, right? So there has to be someone who takes on the leadership responsibility of not just making decisions, but making the best decision, taking in what everyone's needs are, right? So allowing your man to be a leader is not just allowing him to lead and blindly say, let's do this. I don't care what you want. I don't care what you need. It's allowing him to be a leader and make the decision, not just based on his own needs, but also based on understanding your needs as well. So you're entrusting him to not just make a decision for himself, but make a decision for himself and you and what's best for him and you together, okay? So everyone's still happy that way, but you have to have a decision maker, if that makes any sense, right? You don't want a passive man. Trust me, trust me, chat. If you have a passive man, you will be a very, very unhappy woman. Very, very unhappy, okay? I don't want you to be in that situation. All right? Let's do this. Okay. Alrighty. I like this one. So we'll do this. Yeah, we'll do this. I'll do it like this. It's not gonna make sense to you guys first, but don't worry, we'll discuss after. For some of you, you'll get it right away. Any of you watch football, right? Which of you watches football and actually understands it? Tell me in the chat if you watch football and actually understand it. We'll say this. Did I spell, excuse me, I spell conversion right, chat? Tell me if I spell conversion right. Because I don't want y'all making fun of me. Okay, tell me if I spelled conversion right. All right, okay. So I see a lot of you don't watch football, touchdowns in the NFL. Okay, so let's do this like this. So number 4 is the explanation. Now, what am I referring to when I say explanation? See, this is a great thing that you can do. And it's kind of like teaching, but it's a little bit different. You've heard the terminology mansplaining. One of the great things about life is when you can lean into a man's already existing nature and just allow him to flow with it, understanding that it's doing good things for both of you. So mansplaining is a perfect opportunity to give him runway, to explain something to you in his man-masculine way, the way that he understands it. You're there and you're listening, even though the information might not necessarily be relevant to you. It's a chance for you guys to bond, feel closer to each other. Well, I should say him feel closer to you. And as he feels closer to you, he falls deeper in love with you. Let me give you an example of what I mean by that. Let's say you and your man are watching football. And let's just be honest, you probably don't have much interest in football, okay? But you're sitting there watching it with him because he really seems to enjoy it. He's yelling at the screen and everything. Now, in the process of you guys watching football together, you ask him, hey, every time someone scores a touchdown, because they go like this, right? I see they add 6 points to the board, okay, right? And they do this thing after where they kick this like thing at the net or whatever they're kicking it at, this yellow post. And they always get 1 point after. What is that? And then he's going to say, oh, hun, that's the extra point. So they do a thing where the touchdown's only 6, but the way they get to 7 is by kicking the extra point every time. Then you can ask him, well, why do they have to kick the extra point every time? Well, that's just the way that the rule is. You know, the touchdown can only count for so much, so they always have to kick the extra point. And then you could say, well, can they do anything else except kick the extra point? I don't understand. Why don't they just add the 7? Well, the extra point isn't automatic. Do they have other options? Yeah, you can do this thing called a conversion. It's called a 2-point conversion. So in the 2-point conversion, they can get 2 points instead of 1. This is another opportunity to have a mansplain. Can you please mansplain to me? Why do the football players always choose to get 1 point after the touchdown instead of getting 2 points after the touchdown every time? Then he's going to go on a long rant and basically explain to you, long story short, that it's more likely that they'll get this 1-point conversion than it is to get the 2-point conversion. So it's safer to just do it this way, right? He'll do a long explanation of it. Now, in the process of that, you've just taken an opportunity to have him mansplain something to you that he finds interesting, that he's passionate about, that he loves watching, and he feels like when you're asking those questions that you're taking a liking and an interest to something that he already finds interesting, right? Even though it bores you to death to sit there and watch men hit each other with helmets on and shoulder pads, it's interesting for him. And the reality of it is, he's going to be able to feel closer to you when he gets an opportunity to have conversation with you, and especially an opportunity to explain to you how the game works, like you're a novice, and he is so educated and smart and knowledgeable in this area in his life. Not to mention, as you ask those questions and he feels like you're taking an interest, he'll feel like you guys are bonding together over this, okay? How do I get him to spill his guts? How do I get him to talk about deeper things, right? This is how you get closer to a man's heart. This is how you get closer to his spirit. This is how you make him feel more attached to you. That in the end, when it comes time to dig deeper, you're getting that through being able to bond with him over things that he already finds interesting, okay? You got to find someone in the places that they're already existing. That's the best way to get access to them, okay? Does that make sense? Are we on the same page, right? Someone said I like womansplaining. What is womansplaining like? I don't know what that's like, to be honest with you. Someone has to tell me. Tell me, what is womansplaining like? I don't know. Okay, let's go into our next one here. Let's see. Okay. Alrighty. Where did my pen go? Point number 5. What is it? Okay. All right. You guys got to remind me to get a new dry erase marker. I always say that, and I always forget. I always forget, John. Okay. We draw man. We draw man here. Man. Why did I draw him like that? We draw man here. We draw you here. You and your large noggin. Large noggin. You got extra large noggin. You wear them XL caps. Yeah. XL cap you got on. I kind of drew you weird. It's okay. Yeah, okay. Let's do this. Okay. And then we'll have here. Okay, so point number 5 is about being surprised. Now, this is a version of playing dumb that might not make sense to you initially, but I'll explain to you why I consider it playing dumb. See, let's just say you know you're an attractive, hot, sexy, seductive woman, okay? You've got everything. All the men want to look at you. You've got the biggest dump truck and the most voluptuous cities, okay? Now, you're probably going to get accustomed to the similar ways in which people will compliment you, especially if you have a very unique and unique character trait or characteristic about your figure or your face that is very striking to a lot of people. So, for example, let's say you have these really bold, blue, beautiful eyes, and you notice that a lot of guys will usually compliment your eyes all the time, right? Or let's just say you have the biggest dump truck and you notice that men will always compliment your dump truck, the guys that are romantic with you and the guys in your DMs, okay? So you get accustomed to the type of compliments that people will give you on a regular basis. Here's what I want you to do strategically though. No matter how many times your guy compliments you, right, on whatever feature it is that he's complimenting you on, I always want you to act like, oh my gosh, I'm so surprised. Do you really think that? Oh my God, is that really what you think? I never thought of that. I've never even considered it about myself. It's like the first time I'm ever here. You don't have to say that, but you almost want to react like, oh my gosh, like why do you think that? Tell me, explain it to me. I've never, that's news to me, right? So I'll give you an example of that, right? You have those bold, beautiful eyes and he's looking at you. He's like, I love looking at your eyes. You have the most beautiful eyes. It's like staring into an ocean. You say, oh, is it really? What is it like? I've never really thought of my eyes like that. They're just blue. Is it really that blue? When the sunlight hits them, it's literally like I'm falling deeper and deeper into the ocean. I've never seen anything like it before. Oh my goodness. That is so crazy that you would say that about my eyes. I didn't even know that my eyes actually look like that from the other, even though you hear that literally from every guy you ever met. Okay? I don't want you to say that. See, acting surprised is a version of playing dumb because you're actually feeding into the fantasy, and you're going to see it in another point that we discuss. You're feeding into the fantasy that you're not trying, okay? It sounds very weird, but men, oh, they wank themselves off. They love it. They love it emotionally. They love it spiritually. They love it mentally. They love it sexually. To feel like you're not trying to be so seductive, so attractive, so everything. They love to feel like you're literally just standing there and being you, but you're radiating so much energy that it's just attracting them, and you're just like flowing, and you're not even walking. You're just literally gliding across the room, right? They love that. That's their version of a fantasy. So when you can be so beautiful, so attractive, so seductive, and you're like, oh, honestly, like I didn't even know this about me. You feel this way about me? Wow, thank you for the compliment, but I've never, that's wow. That's amazing that you feel that way, right? And this way of receiving and taking a compliment is really attractive to men. Because even though you're playing dumb, they love the idea that they're seeing so much beauty in you, but you don't even see it yourself, even though you know you're super attractive, right? You don't even see how beautiful you are. So what does it make me want to do? It makes me want to like impress on you and tell you even more about how beautiful you are, right? The best example I can give of that is, have you ever met an attractive person and the first thing they do when you're talking to them or while you're just having a conversation with them is they literally tell you about how attractive they are and how everyone thinks they're attractive. Now tell me in the chat, when you meet someone, whether a guy or a girl, and you know they're attractive, but they continuously talk about how everyone thinks they're attractive and how everyone wants them. Tell me, is that a turn on for you or a turn off? Okay? Tell me in the chat. I want to ask you guys so that we're all on the same page and we all understand each other. When you meet someone and they're really attractive, but they tell you how everyone thinks they're attractive, and they tell you how everyone wants them, and they tell you how everyone wants to be with them, turn on or turn off? Okay? Right? I see a lot of people saying it's a turn off, right? It's even off-putting, right? But why is that? Because that person isn't saying anything that's untrue, right? That person isn't lying about the fact that people are attracted to them. You can see that they're an attractive person. But naturally, when someone is trying to like impress on you and force upon you, hey, notice I'm attractive, I say it, everyone sees it, everyone wants me, it doesn't make you feel like telling that person how attractive they are. It actually makes you feel the opposite, like telling that person how unattractive they are. Vice versa, when you see beauty in someone and you compliment them and they respond to you in a way that it's almost like they don't even see how beautiful they are, it actually has the opposite effect. It makes you feel like you need to convince them and show them you're so beautiful and attractive. Now, very important. In the process of playing dumb and acting surprised, I don't need you to add sauce like, oh, I think I'm ugly, or I think I'm disgusting, or, oh, I'm like all sweaty and nasty, I look like a bum. No, I don't need you to say that. When I say act surprised, I just want you to act all innocent like, oh my gosh, what a nice compliment to give me, right? I didn't know that about my eyes. Thank you, I appreciate that, right? Act like it's the first time I'm hearing this compliment, not that you're disgusting or anything, right? So, I hope that makes sense to all of you. Let's hop into our point number 6. Point number 6, okay? Act surprise. Now, point number 7, I believe, is gonna go. Oh yeah. Yeah, point number 6. Okay. Point number 6 is gonna kind of go along with point number 7, but or point number 5, I should say, but in a different way. Yeah, point number 6. Okay. So we'll do this. Some of you will love this, okay? Some of you freaks will love this, okay? All right. Freaks, some of y'all will love this. Okay, we're gonna draw a guy here. All right. We'll do this. Man, hopefully you guys know what this is. Damn, how am I gonna draw this? We'll do this. So we'll do that, and then we'll do this. There's no chance anyone's gonna know what that is. No chance. Maybe if I do this. Before I say what it is, does anyone even know what this is? What I'm drawing? There's just no chance. I just don't foresee anyone will understand what this is. There's no chance anyone will understand what this is. There's just no chance. There's no chance. If anyone gets that, I'll be shocked. We're gonna have like every show, we're gonna have like a trivia. What is Tomisin drawing now? Okay. And we need to have like a point system to try and understand what I'm drawing. Anyone know what it is? Who's guessed it yet? Oh, what the hell? You guys actually knew what it was. Someone said an ATM. No, you guys are, wait, either my drawing wasn't bad or maybe, I don't know. Maybe my drawing wasn't that, I honestly thought no way you guys would guess it. But maybe because I put flirting at the top, it made sense, okay? Someone said a picture frame. No, it's a light switch. It's a light switch, okay? Light switch. Okay. All right, so very important. Point number 6 is about flirting. Now, this is amazing. It's awesome. It's awesome. For you freaks and even for you non-freaks, this is a great one. In terms of playing dumb, what I want you to do is whenever you're seducing him, because as you get to know your man, you're gonna learn what turns him on. And I'm not talking about what turns him on like the way you can gawk 3000. I'm talking about what turns him on in a not so, I guess we can say, raunchy way. The small things that you can do when your clothes are on and you guys are in public that will get him going. As you continue to get to know this guy, you'll begin to learn those small things that get him going even when you guys are in public. So what I want you to do, this is why I drew a light switch, right? From being turned on versus being not so turned on or turned off. I want you to strategically do the things that you know will turn his light switch on and turn him on, but pretend I didn't know I was doing that to you. I didn't know I was turning you on like that. That's just natural me. I'm just being me. This is just what I wanted to do. My intention wasn't to turn you on, to get you going, to make you rock solid that we can't even go out of the car and into the restaurant now. That was not my intention. I'm literally just sitting here doing nothing. How did that happen to you? This is great. Okay, remember how I talked about earlier, right? Men love to live in the fantasy that you're doing nothing, but you're doing so much to them simultaneously. This is a perfect example of that. So what can you do to be able to accomplish this in the way that I'm describing it? I'll give you an example of what I mean by that. Let's say you two are in the car and you want to kind of practice this flirting, but pretending like I'm not really trying, right? You guys are having a conversation. Let's say you guys are in a parked car and you're having a conversation. And as you guys are having this conversation, you're rubbing the inside of his leg and you're looking right up at him in his eyes while you guys are having this conversation, right? You know that this is going to turn him on based on your experience with him in the past. You know he loves the inside of his leg rub. You know he loves that direct eye contact. You know that gets him going. But you also know you guys are just about to head into the grocery store. So as you're doing this and you're having a conversation with him, looking into his eyes, rubbing the inside of his leg, you know it's doing something to him. And then he's going to say, oh, chill, yo. Why are you doing? Hey, he's up, chill. Now we got to wait. And then you can say, what? I'm literally just sitting here talking to you. What's going on with you? Chill. You know what you're doing. Chill. Stop rubbing my leg. We got to wait now. And then you can pretend like you weren't trying to do that. Your intention wasn't to turn him on. You just literally like rubbing his leg. You just literally were looking at him. Play dumb, because now it makes you look like a magic fairy. Like you just come around and you're able to just control his emotions, control his feelings, control his attraction, and you're not even trying to do so. It makes you seem a lot more magical, okay? I know it sounds very weird and stupid, but men also, the same way you want your Prince Charming, men like to feel like you're magical, like you're a fairy. So you feed into that idea when you turn him on, you turn his light switch on in ways that make it seem like, well, I'm not even trying to do that. I was just doing the regular thing that I always do. I like rubbing your ear. So I was rubbing your ear because I like rubbing your ear, not because it turns you on. I like, playing with your hair. I was scratching your head or giving you back tickles because I like that, not because I know it turns you on. You're rock solid. I don't know why you're rock solid. I wasn't doing anything crazy, right? And you just play it along like that. Trust me, it works. Because when he feels like you're not trying, it's even more of a turn on, okay? And it gets him going, all right? Let's hop into point number 7. Does that make sense to all of you? Maybe some of you who are non-freaks, that might not make a lot of sense to you. But if you're a freak, then you know exactly what I'm talking about, okay? Let's hop into point number 7. Point number 7. I know some of you like that point. Great one though, great one. And you can honestly, you can apply that one. You can apply it in the bedroom. You can apply it outside of the bedroom. All the things, right? But especially the foreplay. That's like probably men's favorite version of foreplay. The I'm not trying, but you're turned on. Why are you so turned on? Because I'm not even trying to turn you on. Okay, it's not my fault you're turned on. Amazing, amazing. Let's hop into point number 7. Okay. All right. I see. Okay. After. Okay, but you guys know. You guys know already. Box. Why is my marker always... Gotta get a new one, gotta get a new one, gotta get a new one. And you're here. Wow, I drew your head kind of deformed in this one. Oh no, we'll do your mouth like this. We gotta do your mouth open. No diddy. Open mouth for you. Okay. This one's gonna make you feel a bit, the word I'm thinking of is cheeky. That's how UK people say it, right? A little bit cheeky. This one will make you feel a little bit cheeky or a little bit silly. In the sense that, well, let me introduce a point. Point number 7 is amazement. Now, the reason I'm calling it amazement is even though it's going to make you feel silly to do this, it does work because it appeals to a man's ego. See, each man that you meet, any man that you date, is going to have a particular set of skills that he's the best at. Obviously, he'll have athletic skills. You could be dating a computer nerd. Maybe he has tech skills. You could be dating someone who's really good at chess. He has chess skills. Whatever it is that your man is naturally gifted and skilled at, okay? Amazement is always a great opportunity where you can remind him how amazing and strong and capable you think he is in order to feed his ego, right? But for a very important reason. You're feeding his ego to make him feel strong and capable, that in turn, he will be your strong and capable man. Now, let me let you in on a secret. Let me tell you something so you don't do this wrong, okay? I'm not saying go up to a man who you've never met before or a man who you just started dating and flood him with compliments of how amazing he is before he's actually done or earned anything from you. I'm talking about when you're establishing a relationship with a man, use this strategically to remind him how you see how strong and capable he is in these particular areas where he's very skilled. It might seem like, well, he probably already knows he's strong because he goes to the gym and he's pressing 3, 4, 5 plates. He probably already knows he's smart because he's on the computer and he figured out this program and he figured out that, right? He probably already knows this. However, you're neglecting the fact that you're his woman. So in the process of you being his woman, when you speak those words, right, when those words come out of your mouth, you're amazing, right? That makes him feel so much more like Superman, okay? Even though those are things he might have already known. Even though that is something that is already understood by him. The fact that he's hearing it from you, his woman, makes him feel like, damn, she really believes in me. Trust me, when you have a girl by your side that you feel believes in you and believes in your ability, it is the extra boost that you need as a man, that you think about as a man when push comes to shove, when you're in between a rock and a hard place. Having someone who you know looks at you like Superman and looks at you like you're super capable and looks at you like you can do and accomplish anything is like crack for men, okay? Right? Especially when it's your woman. So understand you can use this also strategically in your relationships with men and remind them how you see how capable and strong and resourceful they are in this area. And it doesn't even require you to lie because all you have to do is say that about the area in which he's actually skilled in. So I showed him lifting up a box here, but in reality, it doesn't have to just be, oh, you're so strong, because the man that you might meet might not necessarily be so strong. That's fine. It could be something about his mind. It could be something about his emotional intelligence. It could be something about his skill in this place or in that area. Maybe he's a good mechanic, whatever the case may be, right? You speak to that, right? And you speak to how awesome and amazing he is in that. And trust me, as you're filling him with that confidence, he'll become a more confident version of himself for you as well, okay? Because we want your man to be filled with confidence and feel capable and feel strong and feel intelligent, because it aids him in being able to go out and hunt for you, aids him in being able to go out and take action for you. It also inspires him and motivates him to do that as well, okay? Right? Let's hop into point number 8. Okay. All right. Now, it's going to sound weird. Going to sound weird. It's actually even going to sound a little bit kinky in the example that I give, but rest assured, I think it'll work for you. I think it'll work for you. I think it'll work for you, and I think it'll work real well. Real well. All right. So we'll draw man here. Man here. And this time he's going to be lifting something up, but it's not going to be a box, okay? So he's lifting something up this time, but this time he's lifting you up. Okay, there we go. We drew you. He's lifting you up. Why are your legs so open? He's lifting you up, for sure, for sure. So, number 8, I want you to exaggerate, okay? Now, it's gonna sound a little bit kinky, okay? Don't worry about it, it works. Now, the reason I'm saying exaggerate is because, see, I know you'll feel silly when you do it, because you'll feel like you're adding so much sauce to it, it's unnecessary. But I promise you, sometimes stroking the ego is a good thing, because when you stroke the ego for the right reasons, you get the right result. Let me give you an example of how this could work. Let's say your man, offers to pay for your nails, okay? He's just feeling good today and he says he'll pay for your nails, or he pays for something small. This is an opportunity to exaggerate in a way that strokes his ego real good, but he'll remember the next time he thinks about doing something for you. So let's say he pays for something small for you just out of the kindness of whatever, right? You guys go to the store together. He's like, oh, don't worry about using your card. I'll use this for you, right? And let's say the thing that he pays for is like less than $50, right? You walk out of the store and you're like, this is a real good chance and opportunity to exaggerate the kindness that he just showed me by paying for something, but do it strategically because I want him to remember this moment. So when you walk out of that store with him, you say, you stop him, you're like, Daddy, you take such good care of me all the time. Thank you for paying for my whatever he paid for, okay? No one takes care of me like you do. This sounds a little bit kinky, right? I know some of you are like, calling a guy daddy, call him whatever you call your man, all right? But the reason I'm saying exaggerate is even though he paid for something very small for you, understand, what you just did there, he will remember that. And he's taking that in as, it's a little light little something, just a little thing for your nails tight, I like the French tips. It's so light, ain't nothing to a baller tight, right? That's how he's gonna feel on the inside. Sometimes even the nonchalant men, they like to play it cool. Trust me, even the nonchalant men, they feel a way when you look at him and you're exaggerating how much he's doing for you, and you're like, you take such good care of me, Daddy. And he's like, I try, type, it feels good. That good feeling is a reminder of how good it feels to do things for you. So subsequently, even though you're playing dumb in the sense that like, hey, it wasn't that big of a thing that he just did for you, but you're exaggerating how big of a thing it is he's doing for you, and you're talking about how he always be taking care of you, he always be doing this, he always be doing that, it's making him feel real good. and he wants to continue that narrative, even though it feels exaggerated. Trust me, that man's not in his mind thinking that's an exaggeration. He's thinking, oh, she thinks I'm amazing. I got to keep doing this. This is an awesome feeling. It gets like it becomes a very addicting feeling to feel like that, especially feeling like that around your woman, right? The woman that her words matter the most to you. So as you're playing dumb in that sense, daddy takes such good care of me, right? I'll put it here. It's just funny to me because I know some of you are like, why would I call my guy daddy? But you get my gist, right? And as you're saying that, right, and he's feeling that from you and feeling that energy from you, even though you're exaggerating it, you're doing something for him to end up doing something for you, because those moments are the most memorable moments to men because they remember the feeling that they had when they did that thing for you. So if he knows he gets that appreciation, that compliment, that exaggeration, even when he does something small for you, why not do even more for you? Because he knows he's going to continue having that feeling the more and more that he does for you. Does that make sense to all of you beautiful people? Now, do you guys have any questions about the 8 that we just discussed? Okay, are we on the same page? Britt says this is a masterclass in what he wants in a woman, basically. What, me? What, me? What I want in a woman? Yeah. I guess you could say that, yeah. But this really does apply to a lot of men, trust me. See, even though a lot of men might not be able to bulletproof spell this out for you and go through each and every way in which it'll make him feel this thing and why it might make him feel this thing, it's the reality of it is a lot of men respond to this, okay? And even though they don't realize how well they respond to it, they do respond to it, trust me, okay? Even in ways that is within their subconscious, okay? So rest assured, it's not just me, it's definitely a lot of other men as well. Okay, we did have a super chat here in the show. Oh, Nicole Cottom donated $5 in a super chat in the YouTube chat. Thank you so much, Nicole Cottom. She says, after he gets used to fixing my problems and coming to my rescue, doesn't he get tired of that after a while? Like I can't do anything without him. See, this is the catch-22. And I actually think when we do our reaction, we're going to see and watch a video together that I'm glad we're going to be able to get a chance to watch together because I know it sounds very counterintuitive, but for men, when they feel they're part of their value, their own recognized value to themselves is their utility as a man. This is going to sound weird. The same way you kind of correlate your own value as a woman to your attractiveness because you understand that's going to change how desirable or undesirable you are in the dating marketplace. Men understand their utility is directly tied to their perceived value in the dating marketplace. So when a man feels like he has a lot of utility to you and in this relationship, he feels wanted, he feels desired, and he feels needed. Vice versa, when a man feels like he has no utility at all as a man or in this relationship, he feels very undesired, he feels very unneeded and unwanted, which is very bad, right? So it's kind of weird in a sense. Giving your man attention and making him feel desired and wanted is not about telling him how sexy he is. It's about allowing him to fix your problems and come to your aid. Because as he's doing that, he understands how to communicate his love to you by taking action for you. So when he's doing those things for you, he feels needed by you. And he subsequently feels desired by you. And he feels like he's actually providing value to you in a way that he understands value because he understands his own value by his own utility, if that makes any sense. When a guy likes you, he wants to be useful and resourceful to you. Now, if he doesn't like you, that's a different story. He just wants to extract from you. But a guy who wants to be with you actually wants to do things for you. In fact, it makes him feel good to do things for you, right? It's going to sound weird, but that's the same reason why a lot of men, even the really healthy men, will sometimes shy away from the super hyper independent woman, I don't need a man for nothing type of woman. Because when the women are in that state, emotionally and spiritually, men find it difficult to come into that relationship and feel needed or desired or wanted. Because they understand their desire and feeling wanted by having utility to that woman. If they feel like they're with a woman that they have no utility with, right? That she doesn't need them for anything. They're kind of like, well, what's the point of me being here? You don't even like me. It's kind of weird. They consider it liking you if you need them. If you don't need them, they don't consider that you even like them. It's very strange, but it kind of is like that. Okay. Um, Error says, your name is actually Error, says, I say to him, you're amazing. And he says, what did you put here? And he says, yeah, it's not much. I could do better. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Sometimes if he's your man, even exaggerating how much he's doing for you or how he's doing such a good job, that you can't really lose when you're showing a man appreciation and even sometimes exaggerating how much he does for you, because he knows that you always recognize that he's doing good work for you. Okay. And it's amazing when a man feels like you always recognize when he's doing good work for you, even when you exaggerate it. Because the worst thing that could happen is, in the opposite sense, he does good work for you and you never recognize it. That is when he immediately starts to want to do less for you, okay? Let the pattern continue. He does good work. You even exaggerate how good of the work he's doing for you, because that's much better than you not acknowledging it at all, okay? Especially if he's your man, especially when he's your man, I should say. Pandora says, well, I'm pretty self-sufficient, so it's hard to let a man feel like he's the hero. That's the thing. It's not about letting every man in your life feel like they're the hero and just automatically giving him that place. But you have to understand, if you want to live the soft girl life or the softer girl life, you do have to allow men to step into your life and solve some of your problems and fix some of your problems, even if they're very small, even if they're very trivial, even if you can solve it very easily by yourself. If you can build that dynamic from the very beginning, slowly but surely, getting him to solve more of your problems, even in a very trivial way, it'll allow that dynamic to harden in stone, where he becomes accustomed to doing things for you, accustomed to thinking about your needs, okay? Right? Because that's also a very important part of fixing your problems, is being attentive enough to your needs and desires that he fixes the problem in a way that actually works for you, right? So you're kind of building a foundation for yourself and for the rest of your relationship when you're doing that. So you don't want to adopt the mindset that you don't need him for anything. It's not really going to work out the proper way, right? Someone says, what if we're in a long distance relationship? Much like I say with anything that we talk about in relationships, this needs to be applied in person, okay? Because even like, the appreciation and all the stuff that we talk about, way more impactful in person. Now, of course, you could theoretically do this in a long distance relationship, but then my question becomes, do you really have a relationship? Okay. What if you're in a relationship? What if you're in a situationship? Someone says, should you not exaggerate? If you're in a situationship, then that means that man has yet to even shown that he is truly committed to you. If that man has yet to even show that he's truly committed to you, doing any of this is not going to make him have any more desire to be committed to you, right? You're not going to use, it's a great question, by the way, because I know some of you are thinking that. You're not going to use any of the things that we discussed here to take a man from being uncommitted to you to committing himself to you, right? This is for people who are exploring a relationship with a man who's actually showing up for you, right? This is how you turn it up to 100. This doesn't take a stranger and make him fall in love with you despite not even wanting to be in a relationship in the first place, okay? Very, very, very important. LP Baby says, question for point number 8, can I praise him for always paying for everything if he does not pay for everything all the time? Wouldn't it lose its luster if I always say thank you and praise him? Is there a balance? Thoughts? No, actually, it's the opposite effect. If he pays for something and you're always like, oh, you always pay for everything, I so appreciate it. You're always taking care of me, right? Like, when you say it though, you have to like feed the ego with it. You're always taking care of me. You're always doing such a good job of me. Wow, you always do the most for me. Right? Like, you're feeding the ego as you're saying that. So every time you do that, that's another opportunity to remind him, if you want this good feeling, if you want that dopamine hit of having me appreciate you, then you have to do that thing again. Every time you take that action, you'll get that dopamine hit. So you have to remember, like I always say, it's the dog treat. He's going to be chasing after that dog treat, which is that appreciation. If you can link those two together, the action with the appreciation, now you've created a cycle where he constantly is motivated to take the action. Okay. So to answer your question simply, LP Baby, as many times as he does it, always show the appreciation. Never try to scale back on that. Because as soon as you try to scale back on it, he'll start to become confused, because he'll think, why did I do the action and I didn't get the same appreciation as last time, right? Because he'll start to expect that cycle to always exist in your relationship, okay? You said, for clarification, what does being a freak have to do with accidentally turning a man on? I'm good at turning a man on by accident. I'm also a freak, but I don't know how this is related. The reason I say that is because I understand we have so many different ranges of personalities and character traits that are on the show. So for some people, tapping into their seductive feminine energy is a little bit harder than others, which is perfectly fine. That's why I'm saying for some people, when I say certain things that's tapping into those parts of your spirit or your energy, it might be a little bit more difficult for some than others. Some people might hear me when I say, oh, the flirting and being casual, being seductive, but pretending not to, and they know exactly the type of thing they should say. They know exactly the type of energy they should give. It clicks for them instantly. Some people hear that and they're like, what did you just say? Am I supposed to stroke him? What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to give that type of energy? So that's why I try to explain it in a way that's a little bit more palatable for every personality type and every kind of tier level. Okay, for the freaks, it clicks for them right away, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay. Someone says, don't know why, but when we got so happy by their efforts, he starts doing nothing or less. Why is that? Well, are we talking about a relationship? Or are we talking about a situationship? Because majority of the time, when you can appreciate and give him some praise for taking action, most of the time he's going to continue taking those actions. Rarely do you see a time where you're showing him proper appreciation and then he starts actively doing less for you, because it doesn't make sense for him. If you're giving him appreciation every time he does the thing, why would he not want to continue feeling that appreciation for doing the thing every time? Now, if things change in your relationship or that was the situationship to start, then that's a totally different story. Okay. Does that make sense? Someone says, I just wonder why you people don't want us to show that we love you. You're talking about like you people like men. It's not that we don't want us to show you. It's just literally about understanding how to speak a man's language, that when you do communicate things or when you do want him to take a particular action, you speak his language in a way that gets him to respond the way that you actually want him to respond, right? Does that make sense? All right. Let's hop into our next segment of the show. Our next segment is our React segment where oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you guys, for those of you who have a question for me, whether it's related to the show or more personal and unrelated to the show, you can ask me a question as well by going to the link in my bio on TikTok if you're watching it there, or in my description if you're watching it on YouTube. Click where it says private relationship advice and you can submit to me a question, as many paragraphs and details as you want. And then when I receive that question, I'll respond to you with a voice message, usually 8 to 10 minutes long, addressing your situation, giving you advice on it, or giving you perspective on it, whatever it is you need, whether it's your relationship or a situationship, okay? So submit that if you wanna get a question answered. Now, we're gonna be having some videos. All right, let's start with this one.
I might be the first person to inform you of this, but a lot of people will just marry whoever they're dating in their mid-20s. So like if you're in an era of your life right now where you're like watching everybody from high school get married and you're like, what the fuck? Like, when is it gonna be my turn? When am I gonna find love? Just know that it's possible that Chad is actually not her one true love. Like, some people will get to the point where they're between like give or take 25 to 29. And whoever they're dating, if they look at them and they're like, you know, I don't hate you, they will marry that person, especially if they've been together for a couple years. The divorce rate is 50%, okay? Half of these bitches are choosing wrong, okay? Take your time, make a well-founded decision. You might be looking at me and be like, Haley, you're in your mid to late 20s and you're married. Yeah, I am. Well, my wife is a fucking 10, okay? I'm going to grow old with that woman. We're gonna be skeletons holding hands in the coffin, because there's a really big difference between like choosing each other and being like, well, we're both here and we're getting pressure from our families. My wife and I are gay, okay? You know how much pressure we got from our families to make other decisions in our dating lives? It wasn't the pressure, I can tell you that. I fear I might be the first person to inform you of.
I don't disagree with this theory. It's very important too when you're dating. That's why I always talk about, in a weird way, when I talk to you guys about dating, I always end up talking about self-development, because the best way to date is to be fulfilled. The best way to date is to be like, what's the word I'm looking for? Is to be abundant in yourself, in your life, in your friendships, in your platonic relationships, because then when you have that abundance in your life, then when you go out and you date, you don't date from a place of like fear, and you don't date from a place of like feeling like, oh, well, if I don't get married, then it's going to be the end of the world, or I need to find someone quickly before I start growing old. Like, that place of fear will just lead you to try and find partners who really aren't what you're looking for, just fulfilling like a role to get this box checked, right?
Men's biggest and only weakness, no matter the tax bracket, no matter the net worth, is women, bro. I know people way richer than me that still panic and are down bad about girls. They're like literally owners of like there's just like one that is like super huge in my mind, like an owner of a very, very extremely well-known designer brand that is literally begging girls to come and hang out with him in Italy. And I also have other friends that know of billionaires that literally do the same exact thing. Now, obviously, not every single dude is just like begging for girls to hang out with them, but I really do think that like women just overall are men's biggest weakness. Like, it'll take the most confident, charismatic dude, and when he gets into a relationship, next thing you know, like, he's panicking, he's texting her while he's out with the boys, she's calling him and he's like, yo, I gotta take this. I feel like it's insanely rare to find a dude that is just like just completely unfazed by girls. Men's biggest.
You know why I actually kind of like this statement? Because I think it's true. It's it's so interesting to me because the universe is created in like perfect balance. Perfect balance. There is no one person or no one, like, you know what I mean, like, creature that's put on this earth that's too powerful that they have no weaknesses, if that makes any sense. So even the most successful of successful men that are so powerful with all the resources as far as the eye can see, all the money that you can dream of, the houses, the cars, the watches, the everything you could ever want in a life, still has a weakness, and his weakness will be women. Like, think about it like that. And it could be like he was talking about, like a young, 20 or 30-year-old woman. It could just be one woman that just has his heart. He can't say no to her. He doesn't know what to do with her. He can get finessed by it. It's like the perfect equalizer. There's no one creature too powerful. It's kind of like, in a weird way, I like that, because I think that it's like, it's a perfect balance. So you can never see someone and think to themselves, oh, they have no kryptonite. We all have a kryptonite. All of us, even the most powerful men in the world. Let me ask a question, chat. Because I'm not on dating apps, obviously, but is this a common thing to see on dating apps? Like, someone will literally have in their bio, I'm looking for a long-term relationship, and then also say intimacy without commitment. Like, is that common? Is that really weird? Because I have heard people comment on things like that where they'll say sometimes it's a little bit different on each app. Sometimes they'll say looking for long but open to short, or it'll say open to short, or looking for short but open to long, right? It's something along those lines, right? And it can be very, very, very confusing. That's a regular on dating apps. I see someone say yes. This is quite interesting to me, because I already don't advise you to go on dating apps, but I would doubly not advise you to go on a dating app and date someone who has this in their bio, because this is like a first class ticket to just to Pain Town. The girls love Pound Town, but this is Pain Town, because a guy who's already undecided, even in his bio, is not going to be able to give you any solid answers or clarity. That's why I say, like, the men who want the least commitment and the men who are playing the most games, most of them are on dating apps, because it's the easiest way to access women for low investment. That's honestly why I really despise dating apps for all of you beautiful people. I really do. I really do.
Bro, I'm so hungry. Like, when was the last time we ate? We didn't eat nothing today.
I had a bagel.
I'm so hungry, I could literally eat Avery Hill. Like, I'm starving.
Is this a trend that people are doing?
What?
You eat what?
I said I'm so hungry I could eat Avery Hill.
Was it a restaurant or something?
What? You know damn well there's no restaurant called Avery Hill.
So who the fuck is Avery Hill?
You don't know who Avery Hill is?
Is that a celebrity?
Well, you just started following her, so it's like, I'm so hungry I could eat her. Like, clearly she's the first on your menu, too.
What the fuck are you talking about, bro?
Clearly she's the first on your menu, too. Like, she's the starter, appetizer, meal. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm so hungry I could eat Avery Hill. I mean, Alyssa Hill?
What the fuck do you mean eat them, though? Like, what does that even mean?
What's her name, Avery or Alyssa? Because now you just pissed me off. Like, I'm not even hungry anymore. Ruined my whole entire appetite.
Is it? This just seems like what? Why is this? I don't like these type of trends. This is a trend, right? I don't like these type of trends. This is a weird trend. I don't like this. This is a weird because this is like crash out energy for what? The girl you were. If you guys are, makes me feel icky. Yeah.
Piece of advice: if a guy goes soft, whatever your relationship with him may be, don't ask, is it because of me? Is it because of this? Is it because of that? Because the stress that's going to add to them in that situation is probably going to make it worse. It's not going to help anything. And it could really knock their confidence as well. And it's the same for guys, like, to not say, why are you like this? Why is it not wet? Why, you're not, what's going on? It's just not going to help the situation. I think if you just take a second, take a breath and be like, right, we don't need to have sex right now. Yeah. Let's give it an hour or so and we'll see what the situation is then. Like, there's no rush with it.
Yeah,
like,
no pressure, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me ask a question because obviously I'm a man, so I don't know the ratio. Let's say, I'm assuming most of you are virgins, right? You're all virgins. But let's just imagine, out of 10 guys that you were intimate with, how many will actually have like some form of erectile dysfunction or like they're soft while you guys are intimate? Because I don't know what the percentage is. So I'm very curious. If you were to say, based on your own experience, being with 10 guys, out of those 10 guys, how many on average would get soft during intimacy for you at some point? Okay. See some people saying 0%. Oh, okay. Is that a flex? All right. 2. All right. None. 2. Okay, I see a couple of 2s. I'm hot. They all rock. So many, Pandora says. Okay, 0. All right, be honest with me, chat. Okay, 1 or 2. Interesting. Kind of frequent. 3 was in front of his friend. Wait, what? What? Was in front of his friend? What do you mean it was in front of his? What were you doing in front of his? Okay. 1 because of the cold. It's getting up. It was. Wait, what? So it's more because of people are vaping? So someone said. 6? Interesting. I see a lot of 2s. So roughly 20%, we'll say 20-30% of men are suffering from some sort of ED or maybe just, performance anxiety in the moment. Maybe they don't have, diagnosed ED, but just performance anxiety. That's very interesting. That's very, very interesting. So here's the thing. I'd actually agree with her in terms of don't allow that moment to be like is something wrong with me type of thing, because it already is going to spiral out of control that way. The best thing for you to do in that moment is comfort him and not make him feel more pressure to like, hey, we got to do this right now. And I know it's going to sound very weird, but it's such a sensitive time that expressing a lot of disappointment makes it even worse. So the best thing for you to do is, hey, we can just cuddle or whatever, and you have to make him feel like it's actually fine. Like if you start to express the fact that you're really disappointed, it's going to make him feel worse about the situation. And it's going to make it even harder for him to get over the anxiety of trying to like make this work. You know what I mean? Because by the time a guy's trying really hard to make this work, we've already lost. We've lost the plot here. Now, the other thing I'll say as well, I'll add to this. Sometimes if you go from, let's say you guys are naked now, sometimes if you go from doing things to just cuddling and chilling, that can be the relaxing, non-pressure environment that he needs to like get hard again. So I'll give you an example. Maybe you can lay down with him and just rub his stomach, or if he likes back scratches, give him back scratches, or whatever the case may be. And just the simple relaxing state of just touching, you don't need to do anything, you don't need to be anywhere, can be enough to like get him back to rock again. If he doesn't have some sort of erectile dysfunction and it's just a little bit of maybe anxiety or performance anxiety, that is much better than being like, oh, is it me? Is there something wrong? Did I do something? Because that never really helps. Now, the other thing I'll say too, always, always, always have a pre and post game analysis with your partner, with your person. So before you're having sex, have lots of conversations about sex, what the other person likes. I know it sounds weird because I'm kind of advising you to dirty talk with men, but have conversations about sex almost to the point where you almost act out or talk about what it would be like to have sex. I'm talking about when you get to the point where it actually is comfortable for you and him. Because when you can do that, then you can almost play it out. You can get used to being worked up, horned up in each other's presence, right? He can be stimulated in your presence. You can be stimulated in his presence. And then by the time you kind of get to actually doing it, you've already felt the feeling of being turned on around the person. And your body started to associate their face and touching them and being around them with being turned on, right? Sometimes the anxiety also stems from you never talk about it. You never discuss it. You never have any sort of intimacy in terms of your relationship outside of this. And so now that you're coming to actually doing it, it feels like a lot more pressure. So that can also be a way to alleviate pressure, even though it sounds like something simple like dirty talk, right?
Mom.
What?
I'm so hungry right now. I could eat Stephen Falasco.
How do you know Stephen Falasco?
So this is a trend.
Huh?
What?
Huh?
How
What?
do you know Stephen Falasco?
I'm just really hungry. I could eat him.
How do you know that name?
I don't know, Mom. I just am so hungry. I could eat Stephen Falasco.
Okay, great.
Okay, great.
How do you know that name? Why are you throwing that name out?
Do you know him?
Yes?
Bring him over here. I want to eat him.
Ew.
What?
Why are you saying that name, Kayla? Just tell
Why are
me.
you so mad?
I'm not mad. I'm just curious how you know the name and why you're saying that name.
Who is he to you?
He was my first boyfriend when I was 13 years old. How do you know him? Why are you saying?
Mom,
What?
I'm so hungry right now.
This is such a weird trend. Who comes up with these trends? This is like, who comes up with this? I don't, why? Your mom's first boy. How did you even find? She must have been digging on Facebook. How would she even find that out?
Men scare me a little bit because men will be so critically horny that they will allow themselves to completely decimate their entire livelihood, like things that they've been working for decades. They'll destroy their family, their lives, their career for mere minutes of pussy popping. Mere minutes. Empires have fallen, you know? Empires have literally fallen. Wars have started over puss being popped. And this is why when the girls don't understand the power that they hold, that also irritates me. But I'm not even talking about that right now. What I'm talking about is fear. I fear men because they will spend their whole lives working for something, like laser focus. They will not call them mamas. They will be horrible fathers. They will be horrible friends. They will be horrible people. And they'll get to that goal by any means necessary, to the point where it's like, I gotta respect it. And then here comes a 19-year-old white teenager. It's like insane work.
The reason I'm laughing is because I think I'm twisted, but I think it's awesome that the world is set up in a way where no one man is too powerful, is too big, because it's just like, and I mean it in the sense that, not that I like to see people fall, but I think it's such an interesting way for the world to be set up where no one is so powerful that they have no weaknesses, if that makes any sense. It makes me think of life like a video game where literally not one person on this world is built with every single maxed out character trait, maxed out attribute that they will never have any sort of weakness at all. So I just think it's very interesting because she's right. There's plenty of powerful men who have accomplished so much and done so much in their life, that no one would think is possible. And it's like she said, like, it's just a girl who will make everything crumble, or the war will start over what seems to be just a girl. But it's like, the world has a way of just equalizing all of us in a way where it's like no one man has too much power that is incapable of any sort of weakness. So I like that idea, because when I look at people who seem like they're the best thing since sliced bread, it always reminds me that we're all human. So we all make mistakes, we all have flaws, and no one is like a god here. So it's great. I actually like that. I like that because it's like an even playing field in a sense. I love this song, but playing dumb, so they'll talk you through literally anything. Okay. Perfect. So this is actually the video that I saw that I was referring to. Someone said, "Who sings the songs?" Party Next Door. Come on, you don't know that? The reason I like this video, I love this video actually, it perfectly applies to what we were just talking about here today. And it's amazing because the reason I said that some women understand this, how to use this to their advantage, and it's a secret weapon of only a few women, is because when most women think of the idea of playing dumb, they think it means that they actually have to be dumb. They don't realize that the best, most powerful version of themselves is operating in the shadows. There's a really amazing movie that actually it's a movie that's tied to a book. Some of you who don't like movies or books, maybe you might not look at this one or read this one. It's called Dune. And any of you who've either read Dune or watched the movies, there's this group in Dune called the Bene Gesserits. The Bene Gesserits are a group of women who operate, they're like a secret society of women, and they operate in the shadows. So they dictate everything that goes on in the universe, because Dune is like human beings have expanded to all the different solar systems and stars. So they actually operate and control all the narratives and the politics of the entire universe, but they don't do that in a way where they're actually ruling anything. They do it in a way where they secretly and strategically plant seeds within key leaders' minds. They put women in particular places to build narratives within the most powerful men's mind. Those men, they go out and they make decisions on their kingdom. They make decisions on their rulings and their worlds in the way that the Bene Gesserit want them to. But all of those powerful men think that they're operating of their own volition. But the Bene Gesserit are all coming together in their secret society and planning out and mapping out how they want things to end. They even plan out and map out which worlds they want to come to war and have a war so that the world can be destroyed and they can come over and take it over and use it to their advantage. So the reason I say all of that is because it's a perfect example of your actual superpower as a woman is not by trying to overtly outsmart the men, because then they'll just push back against that and they won't do what you want. It's by playing dumb, operating in the shadows, and then the men do things for you and you end up controlling things behind the scenes without lifting a finger. Very, very sounds manipulative. It is, but that's kind of like your superpower as a woman. So that's kind of what playing dumb essentially is tapping into. Your understanding of how men will respond to you in certain ways and how they will easily play into their already existing nature and their desire to solve problems and do things for you. And all you have to do is understand how to speak their language and then plant seeds in their mind. Sounds weird, but it does work. And when you get really, really good at it, you end up realizing that you can go out and get what you want without screaming or yelling at all, especially as a woman, right? And it's like, you'll feel like you just hopped into another universe because of how simple it is, right? Someone said the movie Dune sucked. You didn't like the movie Dune. Did you like the second one? I think the first one was slower because obviously they had to set up a lot and they still have a lot set up. Dune's one of my favorite series. Dune's like my version of Star Wars, even though I haven't read the book, but I like the movies and I know it's going somewhere very special. I'm excited to see the third one. Okay. All right, chat. Let's hop into our most amazing, most awesome, fantastical side of the show. We're in our third section of the show now. For those of you who are OG Players Club members, you know what's coming. And for those of you who are new here, you're going to learn what's coming, okay? I want you all to spam it up in the chat if you know what we're about to do. I want you all to Say it over and over and over again so people are aware exactly what time it is, okay? Don't look at your clock. Don't look at your watch. Don't look at your phone. Don't look nowhere else in your entire home. It's a special time. It's an amazing time. It's a time where you're going to laugh and you're going to cry. If you don't know the time, I'm going to tell you the time. Chat, should I do it loud or quiet? Which one should I do? Discord time. Okay, chat. Enough silliness for the show. Let's hop into our Discord section of the show. Discord time, I'll explain this to you for those of you who don't know, is where all the amazing members of our Players Club Discord community get an opportunity to ask me a question about their relationship or their situationship, and I answer it live on the show. Now, there are a few ways to submit your question. There are 3 ways, actually, and I'm going to explain all of them to you here today. First way to submit your question is by going to the link in my bio if you're watching this on TikTok, or in my description if you're watching this on YouTube, and you click where it says Players Club Discord. And then when you go into our Discord, you can drop in your question into our free relationship advice forum here. Now, obviously, you see all these questions that are highlighted. These are questions that I haven't yet gotten to because I'm just one person. So it's going to take me a while, probably a couple weeks, to get to your question if you ask yours today in the free section. Now, for those of you who are impatient and you don't want to wait all that time to ask your question, you can also send me in a question by going into our premium relationship advice forum, which is like a skip the line pass. Now, the way that this works is I read out these questions before I go into the free section, and I clear them out first. So if you're wanting to ask me a question today, I get it answered by today or by tomorrow, or by the next show, I should say, then you can do this way, and this will allow you to skip the line instead of having to wait so long. Now, the only way you're allowed to put your question in the premium relationship advice forum is by going to the link in my bio if you're watching on TikTok, or in my description if you're watching on YouTube. Click where it says premium Discord relationship advice. You put in the title of your Discord username and the title of your question, and then you submit it on with your donation, and then you will be able to put your question into this premium section. You'll be allowed to, and that way it keeps it fair for everyone, because then the people who donated to the show and went through the process are the ones getting the skip, and then everyone who just has a free question will wait in the queue, and fair and square. Okay, it keeps it fair for everyone. Now, this third way to submit your question is for those of you who have a question for me, but you don't want your information read out loud on the show. This is our private relationship advice hotline, basically. There's a link here in the Discord. There's also a link in the link in my bio on TikTok or in my description on YouTube. Click where it says private relationship advice. You can submit a private question to me and type out as many paragraphs as you want, details as you want, send it in to me. I take some time to read it over, and then I respond with an 8 to 10 minute voice message, and then I send it back to you via your email that you submit your question with, and no one else sees it, just you and me. Okay. All right. So I don't think we had any private questions. I did see Pansy say that she had one of her questions missed that was supposed to come after the marriage advice. So we'll go ahead and read that, because I do believe I saw that before. Okay. So I need your assistance with an issue regarding a question I submitted in the free section. Yes. I forgot my number. Okay. So this was the question that was supposed to be the next on our free queue anyways. Okay. So that's why I'm reading that chat. Don't follow this to do this like this, because I saw it. Okay. It's a short question. How long is it acceptable for guys to reach out after getting our numbers in real life rather than from an app? Does the 2-week rule apply in this situation? If they don't reach out within that time frame, should we ignore them when they finally do? And what if they reach out because what if they reach out but don't ask us on a date? The same goes to guys we went out on a first date with. What is an appropriate time frame for them to ask for a second date? The post has been pending for a month. Okay, yeah, we got to your question. So here's the thing. I always adopt the 2 week mantra timeline for anything. So anything relating to a situationship, anything relating to a talking stage, anything relating to even after a first meeting. So even if a guy gets your number in that first day, and then 2 weeks goes by before he hits you up again, ignore. Okay. If that guy you're talking to for a little bit doesn't hit you up or reach out to you in a 2 week time span, ignore, move your life forward. Any version of going out on a date with the guy, seeing a guy, talking to a guy, exploring a relationship with the guy, he doesn't reach out to you for any reason whatsoever in a 2 week time span, 14 days. Do not consider yourself exploring that relationship anymore. The reason I say that is actually because I'm trying to protect all of you, because I know deep down in my heart, if a guy can't be bothered to reach out to you in a 2 week time span, he's not there mentally. Like, he's not interested in you, as he's not interested in you enough to actually build a relationship with you. I should say it like that. And anything you do trying to stimulate, getting this off the ground, I think will be much of a waste of your energy, because in 2 weeks time, you can go through a whole situation, recover from it, and message someone. Like, there's no excuse for anything more than 2 weeks. I get it. Maybe 1 week might be really busy. You have a lot going on, but by that second week, they can't, reach out to you for any reason whatsoever. You're wasting your time exploring anything with them after that. Someone says, what about every day? What do you mean? I don't expect the guy to reach out to you every day, but it shouldn't be 2 weeks in between the time he reaches out to you. Okay, let's go to, some more of our other questions here. Okay, let me make sure I don't skippy some of these. My executive entertainment job, growing concerns. I think we did that one. LP baby. Okay, so this is an LP baby one. Okay. She says, hi, Tommy. I have some questions pertaining to healing and mitigating the spiral sessions one experiences during the never-ending healing process caused by relationship problems. Let me just expand this here a little bit. There we go. Okay, that's better. Okay, there we go. All right. So what practical advice can you give to someone who went through bad, aka mental and emotional abuse and trauma from being in a misaligned toxic relationship? Okay, so I'd really have to understand specifically what you're referring to answer this question specifically. But here's the thing. I'd always say being patient is the best way to avoid more trauma. So acknowledging that you have trauma is the first step, but then being patient with the new person that you're with is super, super, super duper important, because if you have trauma from your past relationship as it relates to intimacy, then you want to make sure that you feel comfortable and the guy that you're with is patient enough with you that he's willing to wait and not continuously pressure you into doing this and doing that and doing this and doing that, right? So patience on your part, not allowing yourself to say, just because I feel good in the moment, I'm going to hop right into it. And then also patience on the part of the man to not just put so much pressure on you that you feel the need to make a decision in the moment, even if you're not necessarily ready for that, right? If you were to recommend us to heal, what does healing mean to you? I've actually had a show that discusses how to properly work through the pain of breaking up with someone. But it always starts with acknowledging that pain is there and existing, taking some time to yourself. I actually advise you, before you start going out and being around people, to take some time to acknowledge what you've actually been through. Write it down, because for some of you, you like journaling, so writing it down would be great. Like writing out everything that's happened in your relationship, or typing it out, putting it in your notebook, whatever you want to do, because at least getting it out will make you feel like, all right, this is what happened. Like, I know what happened. Sometimes there's an element of not being able to say it to anyone that can feel kind of like there's still built up energy within you. So writing it out is great. Reading it out after you write it out is another great one to kind of work yourself through it. Then after you do that, we want to get you building your routine again, because see, healing is not just about ignoring your problem and ignoring your feelings, but you also want to remind yourself that you have happiness outside of that person and outside of that relationship. That is the best way to get yourself on the right track of not just sitting around and moping around and feeling sorry for yourself, because nothing wrong with feeling your emotions, but you don't want the process of you feeling your emotions to mean that you lay in bed all day, do nothing, and then 6 months down the line, not only are you sad about the fact that this whole situation was traumatizing, but you're also sad about the fact that you're so behind in life now because you spent the last 6 months laying in bed and doing nothing and feeling sorry for yourself, right? Like that's not going to benefit you either. So in addition to taking a long break from dating, healing, and taking relationships very slow, what are 1 to 3 actionable items you would recommend the ladies on our healing journey? So I just mentioned them, right? Writing in your journal. If you want to read that out, like if you write down everything that's happened in your past relationships or relationships specifically that you're referring to, that's great. Reading it out, building a routine for yourself, right? So that you can properly actually work yourself through the thing and remind yourself that you have happiness outside of that thing that happened to you. And then also building up your platonic relationships, okay? Very, very important, especially for you as women, that you guys have very strong and healthy platonic relationships, meaning relationships not with straight men, okay? I'm going to say it again. Your platonic relationships that are strong should not be with straight men. I'm not saying having a friend who's a guy is a crime, but what I am saying is the relationships that you want to be watering that are platonic should be relationships not with straight men, at least not with straight men who are not family members. Okay. If they're family members, that's obviously a different story, right? But people, women, you can have non-straight men, and then you can have anyone else who's not a straight man, okay? And not your family and is not family, right? So those people, build healthy relationships with them. Work on being able to see them regularly, speak to them regularly, hang out with them regularly, because that will also feel like you have abundance in your life. They'll take you places, you'll go places with them. You'll feel like you have joy and happiness already existing in your life. So you won't be so desperate for the next man that you come across on the street to be the one that fills you with that. Okay. And that's a great place for you to be. The less you feel like a man is going to save your life and like be your happiness in a sense, the better off you will be as a partner and in building relationships, in my estimation. In your opinion, at what point does intellectualizing and articulating trauma become a disservice to one's healing? For example, I sometimes feel like just because I can articulate what I've been through during a bad relationship doesn't heal me, just gives me words to better describe a bad experience. Building your routine is the best way to actually get yourself to the next level, because you can talk yourself through it, till you're blue in the face. But until you start actually showing yourself that happiness exists in your life, it'll be very difficult to recognize that if you're just continuously always just talking about the situation as it relates in the past, if that makes any sense. For the life of me, Tomisin, I can't wrap my head around the fact of why men choose to remain friends with their exes. Boggles my mind too. Tomisin, this is so weird to me. I think about this a lot, and it's something that has always bothered me about my toxic ex and his uncompromising desire to remain close friends with his exes. The only reason I am not friends with him is because it is for my own good. I agree, because he is an abuser, toxic, and I finally learned to love myself and choose myself. Need to give you your props. So he is blocked. Yet a part of me remains very disturbed and angry at this when I think of this and try to decode my ex's strange and unhealthy attachments to his exes. I get especially hurt when he chooses to be close friends with his exes that have cheated on him / owe him money and have wronged him. Meanwhile, I did nothing of that sort. I'm human and no angel. I understand that. I hate that I have been hurt by this person who's been hurt by unhealed women when all I really wanted was a healthy, normal relationship. This was before I found you, and boy, was I super naive, so I was child's play to my ex. I would really love your weigh in on this strange dynamic, Tommy. Are some women just truly in love with their exes? Some men just truly in love with their exes that hurt / cheated on them, or would they rather not lose access to feminine energy? My ex once told me that he keeps his exes around because he likes collecting people. Damn. And his exes turned out to be the best friends. Best friends know way too much about him, so he wants to keep tabs on them so they don't spill the beans. Okay. Also, to jog your memory, Tommy, this is the same ex that never ejaculated. Painful pineapples suggested I was asexual and happens to also like men and has experienced a lot of trauma, physical abuse as a child. See, if I was a man, I'm not, I wouldn't bother keeping in contact with my exes because that's disrespectful. But I keep in contact with my but I don't keep in contact with my exes for the same reason. So what I would say to that is sometimes it's hard to say, why is a crazy person crazy? Why does a person who lies lie, right? Sometimes it's a little bit hard to say, oh, I don't know why that person lies. Maybe they're just a liar, right? But here's the thing. In terms of keeping people around, you also have to understand for men, it's most advantageous to keep you around if you're a woman. Because think about this. If he continues to have access to you, he continues to be around you, and maybe continues to be intimate with you, that's keeping you what I call on the hook. Keeping you on the hook in the sense that like you'll continue to naturally feel emotionally attached to that man if you're still around him, still seeing him, still spending time with him, still going out with him, and still sleeping with him. All of that makes it harder for you to walk away, but it's advantageous for him from the standpoint of now that it's harder for you to walk away, he now has an opportunity to do something very horrible for you, which is downgrade you, literally take you from being a girlfriend, right? In a position where he can't just go out and sleep with any woman that he wants. He has to try to be loyal to you. He has to be responsible to you in the sense that like he owes you an explanation for the things that he's doing, right? Now he goes from having that, right, and having those expectations to being able to still have you in his life, still have access to you, and maybe even still sleep with you without having the expectation that he needs to meet any of those expectations. So you get downgraded from being a girlfriend to almost like being a side chick or a best friend or a friends with benefits. So he has you where he wants you without having to commit to you. And he's literally taking you from being in one place to being down in this place, right? So that's why I say it's very advantageous for the men to keep you around, which is why I say even if that guy wants to stay friends, you better move on with your life so that you're not wasting your time because you're the one that's going to get hurt in the end. Can you please explain the psychology of how secure/avoidant men goes through a breakup? Do avoidants even hurt to their, even have a heart to care? Of course, everyone has a heart. I get it that to an avoidant, they love their independence and act like some of their exes never existed and can move on and live their lives like nothing happened. Can you please give me insight as to why avoidants act like this and act like we are non-existent and never matter? Well, here's the thing. If you're an avoidant and that's your attachment style, your natural response is to go about things by being like, oh, whatever, I don't care. I'm just going to do this thing by myself, right? So it's a coping mechanism, if that makes any sense. The same way everyone deals with grief a little bit differently, everyone deals with the breakup a little bit differently. Some people, they hurt for a long time, they're in pain, they're sad, they wallow around. Some people, they get right back up and they literally, have so much, sleep with so many people they can't even see straight. They get blackout drunk. Some people, they try and rebuild themselves. They try and go about it the healthiest way possible. Everyone's a little bit different. So for the people that choose to like, hey, it never mattered, it never existed, I'm just moving on, it's like a coping mechanism. So however someone copes with that is how they cope with it. But if that's your ex or that's the person that you broke up with, you can't read into too much of how they choose to go about it. So if you break up with someone and they just act like they didn't care, whatever. Like, because at the end of the day, you don't need them to be in pain for the fact that you guys broke up to feel like you had a relationship. You know you had a relationship. If they want to act like it never existed, if they want to act like they never loved you or whatever the case may be, whatever. Like, I know it sounds weird, but when you break up with people and you move on, you almost have to be like, whatever. Do what you want to do. If acting like nothing happened and we never had a real relationship and you never cared makes you feel good and sleep good at night, whatever. I'm not your girlfriend anymore. I don't care what you have, what you need, what you feel, or what's important to you. However you choose to go about this, go about it that way. If you want to tell people we never dated, go about it that way. I really don't care. I'm not going to be your girlfriend anymore. So what does it matter, right? That's honestly the mentality you have to adopt with people who you're not romantically connected with anymore. Because to me, as a former anxiously attached person who is becoming avoidant and now secure, I feel like avoidants are heartless and cruel and need to heal first before ever dating. And I don't feel like that towards anyone. So I feel like I need to ask an avoidant for information and clarity to not harbor these negative feelings. I also don't want to become like an avoidant, which is how I've been feeling about men lately, except towards my ex who really triggered me and hurt me. Excited and interested and grateful to hear your take and perspective. Here's the thing also, right? If you feel like you're really, really bothered about what your ex is doing, who he's hanging out with, how he's going about this breakup, if it really truly bothers you on the inside, my honest advice to you is to not be dating at this point. Because if you're still truly like irked about it and it still is on your mind, I don't think you're fully over the situation and ready to explore new relationships. Because I am of the understanding and feeling that when you explore new relationships, it should be because you genuinely don't care what your ex is doing anymore. Like, it doesn't matter to you. Your ex can go and live their life this way, and you're like, cool, live your life how you want to live your life. If they want to be a completely different person than they were when they were with you, live your life that way. If they want to tell everyone that you guys never dated and it was never a thing, cool, live your life that way. When you're in that state where you say, hey, whatever my ex chooses to do with their life, that's their responsibility. It's not a reflection on me. They're their own individual. They can do what they want. When you have that state, then you're actually ready to date again. If you're still in the state where you're like, what is my ex doing? What is he posting? Why is he acting like this? Why is he acting like that? Why isn't he going about the breakup like this? Then you're not ready. I don't think you're ready to really be exploring new relationships, because that mentality means you still have feelings there for that guy, which is fine. You're a human being. You can have feelings. But then we need to figure out you first as an individual. We need to work yourself through those feelings. We need to give yourself time, right? Time is also a big thing. And then as time goes on, eventually you'll have one random day where you realize you didn't even think about that person the entire day. And you won't realize it until the next day. And then trust me, after time goes on for a while, you'll have multiple days where you don't even think once about that person anymore. And you'll be shocked because when you first broke up with the person, you'll think you could never forget about them. And then as time goes on more and more and more, you'll go weeks and even months not even thinking about the person once. And then you'll realize, oh, I actually don't care anymore. Like, not even in a horrible bad way. It's just like, I don't still have that same emotional investment that I did 2 years ago or 1 year ago or 6 months ago, which that's just what time does, right? Which is perfectly fine. That's how you work yourself through a situation and a breakup, right? So let's hop into our next question here. Okay. Let's see here. I want to do some more. Let me see. Okay, love. Oops, yeah, we did this one. So we're gonna pause these. Return of the Skittle. Interesting name. Psychological warfare. Interesting. Hey, Tommy, I'm deeply conflicted as I'm writing to you. Me, a 29-year-old female, and my crush, a 26-year-old man, met at work. Interesting. I was always fond of him, but pushed any idea to the back of my mind because he was seeing someone at the time. Okay. Eventually, he ended up quitting. We had exchanged Snapchats. Why? Okay. Whatever. We would talk once in a while, but it never led to anything. At the time, I was very body conscious, filled with a bunch of self-doubt due to the things that had transpired in my life. I believe that bled into how people saw me too. For sure. Energy always, people can feel it. I hate bringing horoscopes into things, but me and him have birthdays a day apart. So what does that mean? So a lot of how I perceive and overthink the world, I've gathered he does similarly. I can only assume that maybe he didn't like me at all that much initially. He ended up getting a girlfriend and posting her, and it kind of dawned on me that I wasn't chosen. Oh, you're talking about afterwards. I took a hard look and then didn't look back on it. He would post her, and it became a regular thing. I was unbothered. I eventually met someone also. It's tricky because we both went through breakups with those same people at the same time and vented to each other about it this past year. As far as that deepening the friendship, I'm not really sure it did. We never sexted, but we would acknowledge each other's pictures. I know he finds me attractive. However, I don't know if there's, if there's any actual desire to start something real with me. A few things confuse me. Like after our breakup exchange, he said they got back together and I was happy for him because it sounded like they were able to get through a rough patch. I was deeply in love with my ex, so I didn't see this guy as being for me. He eventually broke up with her for good. Pretty sure during their reconciliation, he took me off Snap, but I wasn't upset because if it was for her, I get it. After adding me again, he asked if I wanted to hang out. I could tell that he wanted to smash. But given what we both had gone through, there would be no way for us to open our hearts to each other in an appropriate fashion. I'm glad you're able to aware enough to recognize that. He ended up agreeing with me. Later, he made attempts to hang out, mentioning all the time he was free, but I was not yet sure to explore him as an option. For some context, my ex and I were in a 2-year relationship. On the second year, I made arrangements to go to Italy dolo, like by yourself, basically. I got ghosted on the flight there, and I was never able to get closure until a year down the road. What the hell? I am no stranger to the ghosting game, and after having been through that long and enduring battle, I cut people off quickly that waste my time. That's strange that your own boyfriend would ghost you, though. That's very weird, okay? Eventually, me and this guy said we'd meet at the park. I had no idea how late it was already. I was finishing my accounting homework. So why didn't you look at the time? I headed to the park and we drove around in a fun, let's find each other way. We're both heavily into cars. Last minute, I was in my head. What if he's just trying to smash? Is the sun out? I pulled up next to him and said we should meet tomorrow and go out on a date, and he agreed, smirking at me. I got ready the next day and texted asking what time are we meeting, only to get ghosted. This is your sign, right? You guys always want signs, right? You said you're into horoscope, right? That's all about signs. This is your sign. After this happened, he started heavily going to the gym, specifically boxing. It was a bit random. I made an obvious mistake. I asked him, if he wanted to go on a run. That is a mistake. He opened the Snap and dubbed it. This is why I say, do nothing. Let the men come to you. When they don't reach out to you, it's a sign. You guys always want signs. That's a sign, right? He's giving you a direct sign of how he feels. He didn't follow through with the date, and he didn't seem interested in seeing you while the sun was up. Okay? Lesson to all of you. If a guy seems only interested in seeing you when the sun goes down, he's not that interested in you, okay? Or he's just interested in sleeping with you. That should be an easy one to kind of put 2 and 2 together. I gave up. He proceeded to watch my stories. We constantly were in each other's private stories. Every time I asked myself, what does this mean? I would self-audit and stop thinking and move on. Good. I bought myself a self-improvement book, posted it on my private. Months later, he posted the same book on his story, saying we was swearing off social media. Like getting off, I think you meant to say. Getting in tune with God. I didn't know if it was purposely put there. What are the odds? I didn't watch his story. What do you mean? How would you know that? I saw it as a blessing that now I wouldn't have to deal with seeing him. I was on Facebook randomly when I saw a friend request from him sitting him. What? I think you meant to say sending him the approval and sitting in the approval deny list. That's what you meant to say. Okay. I approved. I updated my profile pic and he liked it. Conflicted. Conflicted. I questioned if I should send him a message. I hope you didn't. That night, I asked the universe, if this man is for me, then show me. The following day, a friend of mine wanted to study. I was running a bit late. I was on my way when I saw a familiar car. It was him, and I just couldn't believe the level of coincidence. I gave in and nonchalantly said, oh my God. You look good. How are you? Let me get up and stretch. This type of stuff is pretty frustrating for me. You have to understand. So I'm not even trying to be dramatic. It's genuinely frustrating for me because, I work so hard to try and provide you guys with knowledgeable advice of what to do and definitely extensively what not to do. So, when we do things like this, that we know, we know don't serve us. It's very frustrating and painful for me. It's very frustrating and painful. And okay, return of the Skittle. The thing is too, like, why? Okay, I don't want to get mad. But my question is, why have the introductory text be "You looked good today"? Like, you know the energy of the men that will, like, they'll hit your DM like with a D pic, or they'll hit your DM with like a, yo, you want to come over, or you should pull up to my plate, like, and you're just like, why would you introduce yourself with that? Do you actually think that I'm gonna respond to that in a way that's advantageous to you? It's the same question I'm kind of asking here. Like, the guy already didn't bother to follow up with you about a date. He opened your message and just dubbed it. And you're looking for signs. You don't look at the sign, which is clearly stating this guy ain't really interested in you. Instead, you look at the sign, which confirms the narrative that you want to believe in, because the truth is, this is the narrative you want to believe in. And then you go out of your way, because, well, yeah, sure, it's a coincidence to see his car. I'm not going to lie to you, that's a coincidence. But you acting on that coincidence as if that message was for you to say, oh, go reach out to that guy, that's not how that works. It can be a coincidence, and then you say, sure, if that's the coincidence, and let's say he reached out to you, different story. At least he reached out to you. But the fact that you took that sign and then took it as an excuse to reach out to him, and then that's what you say? Let's go on. He answered and mentioned he noticed me too. Yeah. I said, maybe this is a sign we should hang out. That's actually what you, okay. Okay. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? This is very, very wrong and very bad. Okay? You're not, how long have you been watching this show? This is very bad. Okay? You know that this is wrong. You know that this is wrong. Why are you doing this? You should not be telling no man this is a sign we should hang out. You've already asked for a date from him. You've asked him to take you out on a date, and he's ignored you. And it sounds like you're literally selling yourself. Like you're a car salesman and your car is on a crazy discount. Maybe this is the time that you'll take me out on a date. Maybe this is the sign, right? Like, why are you car salesmaning access to you as if it's on sale, crazy discount, end of the year, end of the month discount? Are you a Black Friday sale? He agreed. Yeah, I'm sure he'll agree. It's easy for him. He knows you're desperate now. I asked why he deactivated social media. He said because he had plans to join a specific section in the military. I was immediately turned off. That's what turned you off. Okay. I'm not saying it's all bad in there, but from my understanding, there can be a lot of people that are led by toxic leaders. In some internal way, I didn't want him to see or become that level of corruption in such an imbalanced environment. What? I sent a lengthy text. I can't believe this. I can't believe this. I can't believe this. I can't believe this, man. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Oh my God. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Genuinely, why are you doing this? Over communication, over explaining to men. Like this man hasn't even, oh my God. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Your life would be so much better letting go of this situation and, going and doing just things that you enjoy and not spending so much time invested in someone else's life who doesn't even care about you. Okay, I can't do this. I sent a lengthy text. Like, make sure you know what you're getting yourself into. I sent it, and for the first time, I didn't care if you responded or not. Yeah, so why did you send the text? He ended up responding and said, all right, well, if you're my friend, I wouldn't be in a good conscience, it wouldn't be in good conscience not making you aware of the dangers. He proceeded to ask me what I was doing Thursday. Not sure what caused him to say that right after that heavy conversation. Okay, let me make this simple for you. Because he doesn't give a damn what you're saying. He doesn't care about your opinion. He doesn't care about your perspective. He doesn't consider you a friend. All he's thinking about is, look at this desperate, foolish girl. Thinks I even care about anything except sleeping with her. What is she doing tomorrow? That's all I care about. She's talking all this stuff about the military and what I'm doing with my life and where I'm going. He's thinking, I don't give a damn about what she's saying. Skip all that text. Is she going to send me some pictures of her naked? Where is that? Is that in the text here? Nope. Ignore that. When are we going to hang out? When you pulling up on me? And I don't care about any of this other stuff you talking about, my well-being and this and that. That's basically what he's saying to you. And you're always looking for signs. That's a sign there. Right? You think it's a heavy conversation because you think he cares about what you're saying. I'm not trying to be mean to you, but I think like I need to give it to you that way for you to realize how much of a waste of time this is. We got some food. We spoke a lot. Oh my God. I hope. Chat. What do you think the percentage is that this ends up going the wrong way? What do we think the percentage is that she ends up sleeping with this man? Because I'm scared now. I'm nervous now. I haven't read this message. What's the percentage? Let's see. We spoke a lot. He's really into films, cars, detail, and I'm the same way. Talking is natural. He opened up about his situation, and when I gave feedback, I put it in a way he complimented me for. There was sexual tension. I ended up kissing him, but I was so shy I backed off. He said, you can't just do that and stop. Yeah. But I could also see he didn't have the courage to kiss me either. I got home and unexpectedly he let me know when he was home too. I went to sleep and I just couldn't believe whatever this was deepening. For about 2 weeks, we texted. I'd wait for about 3 hours or even longer. And there were even what? You said distribution. Oh, sorry. There was an even distribution of texting. He asked about me and my major. He told me about his day. Okay. A lot of things I recommended he would try, like film. I began to feel like he was intellectually attracted to me also. I said I'd cook for him one day. We made plans to hang out again, and this is where it gets weird. Yeah. Okay, so the night we were supposed to hang out, we were texting. He asked me, should I bring anything? I found that kind of strange, but generous that he would want to bring me anything before the date. Yeah. I asked, where are we meeting? He proceeded to say, I thought I was coming over. Instantly, I felt it in my stomach, the ick. That's when you felt it? He said, I thought when you said you'd cook for me, it meant for this date. I reminded him that I said I would one day. He ended up saying he was going to stay home because he wasn't sure what we could do. You are smart enough to know what this means. I can't believe this goes on. It was already 11 p.m. and that he wanted to save money. How did you still talk to this guy after this? It's true from what he said that he's going through a financial situation. I can't comment. I shouldn't comment. I felt like I couldn't look at him the same way. I played it off like, oh yeah, it's late. I really wanted to kiss you. Why would you? Oh my God. You're actually trying to, you're trying to really upset me. Why would you say that? I'm glitching. I don't understand. I don't understand why you would say that. Why would that be your response in that moment? You know you're not here to be taken as a joke, like he can just sleep with you whenever he wants to. Why of all things, chat. Okay. Can someone explain to me? Maybe this is girl logic. Return of the Skittle. What are you trying to do here? You don't want him to see you as a friends with benefits, hey, I'll just sleep with you for nothing type of girl. Why is your response to him saying, oh, I just thought I was going to come over. Oh, yeah, it's late. I really wanted to kiss you. That's not playing it off. What? I don't know. Oh my God. I feel like I'm not reading the right message because I can't believe that that's what you would choose to say. He said him too. I didn't respond to that for about 5 days. My mind was foggy. I wanted to hit him up, but what would I say? Hopefully nothing more. Please, God, nothing more. If he's unwillingly, I think he might say, if he's unwilling to go on dates, then where does that put us? Puts you nowhere. Felt a bit shattered at this point. Excuse me. After those 5 days, oh my God. I texted, hey. I wanted to ease into the convo before getting into it. He left it undelivered. This is so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing, and I'm not making fun of you, but I feel so embarrassed that you would stoop this low. Like, it's not worth it. It's one guy. You have to understand, like, I understand it's hard to be like, just let go of something and just move on, but you have to realize there are more guys in the world. Like, this isn't the only guy in the world existing. You don't have to make something work with him. If he's not showing you interest, there's other guys. It's just a guy. Like, oh man. I began to get annoyed. I'm annoyed. Like, why would he even think he's earned that from me? You're the one that messaged him. Okay. For me to cook for him, I mean. Okay. On Facebook, he was tagged a few days after a day with his guy friend and girls. I was unfazed. Were you actually? He proceeded to watch my stories after said moment. What does he want from me? Nothing. He just wants to sleep with you for literally free and never speak to you again. Like, this is one of those situations. I think if he actually did sleep with you, I think literally he would never speak to you again. Like as horrible as I think he would literally after he sleeps with you, he'd make an excuse to leave and never speak to you again. That's honestly what I think he would do, as weird as it sounds, right? So that's why I'm saying he wants nothing from you, really, except to maybe sleep with you for nothing. Why is he all of this nonsense? I can tell he's not the type of guy to let many people in. That's okay, sure. But I've seen his inner world. That's what you think, right? Because you guys have had some conversations about the military, you're assuming you guys are close together. That doesn't mean he's really shared anything real with you, okay? He's invited me into it, but what's the point? as all of this is going on, I've remained true to myself. This is what you describe as remaining true to yourself, telling him that it's late, that you wanted to kiss him. Whatever. And indefinitely plan to work on myself. I'm getting pretty toned now. I work a decent amount of hours and I'm in pursuit of my forensics accounting degree. As of how it stands, he's not prioritizing me and I can live with that. But, oh gosh, I want this man to drool at my transformation and completely regret the part of himself that ever doubted me. I also want to add, I accidentally screen recorded our convo after that initial ghosting period and oh, you're talking about, because this is on Snapchat, so he's seeing that you screen recorded it. And he questioned me for it, and then I mentioned it was an accident. He left it open, but kept viewing my Snap stories. And as I mentioned, we hung out after. Why would he be willing to hang out after me making mistakes like that? I'm confused. To sleep with you, that none of what you do screen recording, that none of that has anything to do with sleeping with you. Here's the thing, return to the Skittle. I'm not going to give you this advice. Not because I don't like you, but because I know it will put your mind in the wrong place. I know if I give you advice to help him regret losing you and regret the fact that he treated you like trash and all that stuff, all you will do is focus on what he's seeing or not seeing. Okay? For your health, your mental health, I don't want you spending not even a second thinking about him anymore. Not even 1 second. So I'm not going to give you advice to help you think any seconds about what he thinks about this or that anymore. All I'm going to tell you to do is continue doing the things that make you happy, void of him. Continue going the places that make you happy, void of him. And continue building your platonic relationships that are not with guys. Okay, at least straight guys. All I want you to do is focus your time and energy on that. Keep and retain all of your energy and focus on you. I will not allow you, because you're an energy addict. The reason I'm saying an energy addict, you have the personality where if you find that one person to give all your time, energy, and attention to, you will do it. And it seems like, I'm not trying to make fun of you, you can't control yourself or stop yourself from doing that once you start to spiral. So I don't want to give you advice that will make it easier for you to start focusing time and attention on that man again. Because I know you have the personality that you'll spiral out of control. You can't pull yourself out. So what I need to do in order to actually help you, I need you to retain all of your energy, all of your focus, all of your attention on just you. So you don't even have a chance to slip off the ledge into the depths of despair where you begin focusing all your energy on this man. Because you're saying a lot of things that, see, in your mind, right? This happens to a lot of us. The mind can play a lot of tricks on you. In your mind, you're thinking, oh, I'm not self-sabotaging. Oh, it's whatever. Oh, I'm super unbothered. But you're not. You're not. Because the truth of the matter is, if you are really unbothered, this message, I'm going to tell you right now, this message would have been like a paragraph long, right? Literally, this message would have ended after, yeah, we exchanged Snapchats, but he didn't really seem that serious about taking me out on a date, whatever. It would have been like one paragraph long. The only reason this message went on for many other paragraphs is because you continuously, after receiving the sign, after receiving the clarity that he really isn't that serious about you, you continued saying, no, but what if I do this? What if I do that? What if I do one more? What if I message him here? What if I say this? What if I... Stop. Okay, stop. You're becoming an energy addict, right? Every chance you're like, okay, wait. I've been pouring a lot of energy into me. Maybe if I give him some energy, something will happen. No. You need to pour into yourself. And the only time you even bother to explore or pour any energy into another man is if he first comes to you and shows you how he wants to invest in you. Then, as he's investing in you, you can decide over the course of time to invest some of your time and energy into him. I want you, Return of the Skittle, to become very, very stingy with your time, attention, and energy, and be very unwilling to give it to any men unless they're literally going to beg you for it. Because if I'm worried that if it's not this guy, it'll be a new guy that you grow some attachment to, and then you become an energy addict with that guy, and everything you do is for that guy, and you're constantly reaching out to that guy, and he's pulling away and not talking to you and not reaching out to you, and you're doing more and more and more. This is a spiral. It's very dangerous. Very dangerous. So no advice for you to help him regret nothing. You're going to focus on you. You're going to look yourself in the mirror, look at your dump truck, look at your body, look at how good you're amazing and you're looking, and realize you're an attractive woman, not for him. You're an attractive woman for yourself, and you don't give a damn what he thinks. You don't give a damn if he messages you. You don't give a damn if he reaches out to you, texts you, nothing. I would also advise you, delete him off Snapchat, so that you're not even concerned whether he's watching your stories or not. Delete him off Facebook, so you're not even concerned whether he's watching your stories or not. Delete his number, so that you don't even have to be bothered to think about what he is or isn't doing, what he is or isn't watching, right? Delete the screenshots you have of your convos together, all the threads as well, okay? Get rid of them, so that you're not concerning any of your time or energy into what he's doing or not doing with his life. No more energy for him, all for you now, okay? Let's go into our next question. All right, that one made me really mad. I won't let you chat. Let's hop into our next one. Okay, this one comes from Sis. Okay. Sis says, marriage. Hi, Thompson. I hope you're doing well. Remember when you said some Jamaican parents won't let their sons date? Wait, what? This is Sis. What do you mean Jamaican parents? You're not Jamaican. Neither is your man. Okay. Well, anyways, parents won't let their sons date women of different races, and not to bother to date them if their parents won't accept you. Well, this happens with every race. It's not just Jamaicans. Did I say Jamaicans? It's not just Jamaicans. There's lots of races and ethnicities and religions and cultures that have that same mindset. I have a similar situation. My parents are strong Christians and would never let me marry a Muslim. My boyfriend pretended to be Christian, and when he met them, because I told him they wouldn't accept him if he didn't. The truth is, he is Muslim. Only one of his grandparents, specifically his grandmother, was Christian, and he went to a Catholic school for some reason, so he was unable to pretend a bit. We also lied to my parents and said that his parents are not in the U.S. because if my parents were to meet his and see his mom is wearing a hijab, they would put two and two together and know that he's Muslim. Him and I are not religious. We don't care about each other's religion. However, even his accent being similar to Muslims made my mom hate him because she wants me to marry a Christian man. The only way we are going to ever get married is if he fully acts Christian. That's not a thing, okay? You can't fully act Christian. You're either convert and you're a Christian, or you're not. You don't act like, okay. Goes to our church and mom sees him, which he is willing to do. That's not how that works though. However, we would have to lie to I think he meant like his parents, because if they ever meet, my parents would find out he's actually Muslim, and they would never allow me to date him. They'd unalive me. I don't know how we are going to do this, though, because he wants a huge wedding with both of our families. I told him we can't do that because our families will have to meet each other. I'm not even exaggerating. The sun would turn ice before my parents would ever accept me dating Muslim. Do you have any tips on how we can get married without our parents meeting? No, I'm going to tell you why. It's just what we have to do as Middle Easterns. I am willing to pretend to be someone I'm not. His fam would accept my religion, so not in that way. But when I meet them, I will pretend to wear long sleeves and pants, always because Muslims value conservative clothing. It's just the way it is. We both have to lie and pretend a little in front of our parents, but it's hard because I don't want our lies to be exposed in the future. Okay, let me be honest with you. This is not going to work. It's not going to work. The reason I say that, not to demoralize you, here's the thing. Unless you've accepted the idea of marrying him in a way that doesn't require any of your families to ever meet ever, and like, let's just say, hypothetically, you were like, cool, we'll get married. Your parents don't need to meet mine. And in our family, when we have our family, we're never going to connect with our families again. We're just going to kind of isolate ourselves. Let's say that was what you did. That would really be the only way this could work. And I wouldn't even advise that because it's very unhealthy, right? You create a very unhealthy attachment when you're isolated in your family and you have no other extended family to talk to. The reason I say it just won't work is because you're trying to do two extreme things at the same time that are literally impossible. You can't say, okay, we're going to get married. Our parents will never allow us to date the other religion, but we have to find a way for us to get married. But you want to have a big wedding. But if we have a big wedding, then our parents will meet. You're just literally setting yourself up for failure because it's a ticking time bomb. If he's not, so here's the thing. You're talking about him acting Christian and like going to church with you and all this other stuff, but he can't act Christian. He either converts to Christianity and he is Christian, or if he just says, hey, I don't believe in any religion whatsoever, that's a different story. But like, you're not going to be able to do this dance where you guys are both in between stages here. Because the thing about it is, with religion, you're either on the bandwagon or you're not. If you're on the fence, then you're against them. That's how a lot of religions look at it. So the reason I'm saying that is, like, you're thinking in some world you can be like half Christian and then sometimes Muslim. No, it doesn't work like that. And he's thinking he can be half Muslim and sometimes it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. Because then you have to ask yourself a different question. Your parents don't accept Muslims. His parents don't accept Christians. Which one are your kids going to be? Ask yourself that question and ask him that question. Which one will your kids be? You think you can play this game while you guys are young and everything's kind of cool or whatever the case may be, where you go over to his place and you act like you're a Muslim girl and you're conservative, and he comes over to yours and he goes to church and he acts like he's a Christian, and it's fun and dandy. And then you have children, and then you ask yourself an important question. How am I possibly going to keep this secret? And how am I going to raise my children? Are we going to raise them both Christian and Muslim? So when they go over to grandma's house and grandma is Christian and my child starts talking about all the things they've been doing in the mosque, or my daughter is wearing a hijab, and I tell my daughter am I going to tell my daughter to take the hijab off when she goes to grandma's house on my side? These questions, right, become uber more complex when you bring children into the scenario, and then you think to yourself, children will be very confused if they don't have a set path to go on, okay? Children know how to follow the lead of their parents, but if their parents aren't sure what the lead is even supposed to be, they will be even more confused. And make no mistake about it, this is going to sound very philosophical. Your children will grow to resent and hate you for confusing them so much that it creates more problems and more of a rift in your relationship with your children than an understanding. Because all the hoops you're going to have to jump through with them and make them jump through just so that your family accepts them and his family accepts them will be so painful and traumatic for them. They'll resent you for making them go through that. Because they'll be so confused. They'll be like, Mom, why am I doing this one day and doing this another day? Why are we practicing both at the same time? Which one am I doing this time? And trust me, it'll happen because this is how kids are. Kids only know how to be honest. So trust me, there will come a point where you have your child and your child is around your grandmother or their grandma or their grandpa, and they spill the truth on what you've been doing. How you've been going to one side of the family and doing one thing and going to another side of the family and doing another thing. And then you're going to blow up on your child and yell at your daughter or your son and say, why would you tell grandma, I told you not to say nothing to her, da 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 da. But children only know how to be honest, and children spill the beans, right? And then you're going to create a rift between you and your child because you're going to be so upset that your child just told the truth and wasn't able to go along with your whole facade. So I know I'm looking very far into the future, but these are the type of things you need to be thinking about when you're making a decision like this. It's different to say both of us are no longer religious and we're going to raise our children totally different or whatever the case may be, and we don't care what our parents think. But the reality of it is you do care what your parents think. And I think he cares what his parents think as well, which is why both of you are not bothering to be honest with your parents about the other person's true and honest religion. Because if you really didn't give a damn what they think, if neither of you really cared about their opinion or their perspective or what they felt about your partner, then both of you would just be honest and say, yeah, my partner is Muslim, my partner is Christian, I don't give a damn what you think, right? If that was really your stance. But the reality of it is you care what they think. You care about the perspective. You don't want them to be upset with you. You don't want them to ostracize you or alienate you or isolate you or never speak to you again, which is fine. That you're just a human being. Of course, you love your family. But if that's the reality, then don't pretend as if you're going to be able to live in this facade forever where you fake everyone out and no one ever finds out your secret. Someone will eventually find out your secret. And it'll be a very treacherous and painful and horrible time when you're trying to pick up the pieces of this big lie that as time goes on, this lie will go from being months long to being years long to being decades long. Imagine having a secret that you're keeping from your family for decades. And one day it comes out and it blows everything up. Not a good way to be living your life. And you're putting a lot of unnecessary pressure on yourself that will give you a lot of anxiety being around your family in general, which is just super unnecessary. Imagine now every time you're around his family or he's around yours, you have this immense anxiety of your super secret being exposed. That's not sustainable at all. Okay. I'm not saying this to demoralize you or make you really sad or anything like that. I just need to give you the reality, because sometimes you might say, oh, I really want the person, but then you're not thinking of the consequences of what you're actually saying. If you had the mentality where you don't give a damn what your parents think and you're really willing to just not have any family to be with this man, which I wouldn't advise, then sure. But I don't think either of you are actually prepared for that reality. So what are we doing here? Okay. All right, chat. I hate to end it on such a sad note, but that's the show for today. For those of you who have any questions for me, feel free to drop them in the Discord, whether it be the relationship free section, the premium section, or the private relationship advice section. For those of you, do we have some donations? Another donation here? Let me see here. There was another donation. Oh, Nell Danger donates $10 in the YouTube chat. Thank you so much, Nell Danger. For those of you who have any questions, you guys know how to submit them. For those of you who want to follow me on Instagram, my Instagram is just above my head on the top left corner of the screen. If you're watching this on TikTok, if you're watching this on YouTube, it's just in the bottom in the description there. For those of you who want to rewatch the show because you came late or you missed some of the points that we discussed, you can always go to my YouTube channel, which is just my name, Tomisin on YouTube. Go to the live section. You'll be able to see this live stream and all the other live streams I've done since the beginning of time. And you'll be able to get all the context of everything we've been doing on this show and talking about on this show with the YouTube. I think I said that already. The YouTube and TikTok chat embedded in the video. Okay. I'm here Mondays and Thursdays. So I will be here next Monday. Hopefully I don't have any urgent pressing things. The problem with Mondays is everyone always has all their emails and issues on Mondays. That's why it kind of is weird for me. But Monday I should be here again. I will be here again. Okay. I'll try my best to be here again for you guys. And we'll have another live show, more discussion about love, life, and relationships. Make sure you're looking out on my YouTube channel because I'm always posting many videos on there as well, even TikTok as well. Okay. Until we meet again, I bid you guys adieu. Oh, by the way, had a great birthday. For those of you who are saying happy belated birthday, I really appreciate you. Had a great birthday. I celebrated it I went to a dinner. That's what I did. I didn't do anything that crazy. I want to get a massage though, but it was a great birthday. You know, every day is a blessing. Okay. I'll see you guys on Monday. Until we meet again, bid you adieu, arrivederci, au revoir, hasta la vista, sayonara, ciao, salam, baoni, bon voyage. And I'll see you on Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I love you so much. Okay.